Life has no undo key. A guide to making confident, purposeful choices. Introduction. Embracing the finality of choices. Life is a series of crossroads, a collection of decisions that build upon each other to shape who we are, where we go, and the legacy we leave behind. Each choice, from the monumental to the seemingly trivial, has consequences, some of which ripple forward for days, months, or even years. Yet, unlike the luxury we enjoy on our devices with an undo button ready to erase mistakes, life offers no such escape. We cannot backtrack, delete, or rewrite the choices that have come to define us. We are compelled to live with every decision we make, learning to accept the permanence of both our successes and our failures. This book begins with an acknowledgement of this truth: life has no undo key. It's a statement that is as daunting as it is empowering. We are reminded of the gravity of our choices, knowing that each action, or inaction, has the potential to set us on a path that may be irreversible. This reality can be intimidating, evoking a desire to rewind, redo, or rethink choices. The urge to second-guess, the what-if questions, the pangs of regret, these are familiar companions for anyone who has ever made a choice they weren't entirely sure of. But the intention of this book is to go beyond that intimidation, transforming it into a source of strength and motivation. The weight of permanence. Why is it that finality unsettles us? Perhaps it's because the finality of choices serves as a reminder of our human limitations. We cannot know every outcome, foresee every consequence, or predict every twist that life will throw at us. This uncertainty can leave us paralyzed, worried that one wrong move might undo years of progress, or lead us to a place we never wanted to be. We live in an age that glorifies options, flexibility, and the freedom to change our minds, a freedom made possible in many ways by technology and modern convenience. But life's most meaningful choices don't come with a cancel button. Once we choose, the choice becomes part of our history and identity. It's natural, then, to crave the certainty of an undo key, an escape from mistakes or unexpected outcomes. However, viewing life through the lens of finality, while initially intimidating, opens the door to a much deeper, more fulfilling way of living. Embracing the permanence of our choices is essential for personal growth, for it teaches us to accept responsibility and to live with intention. When we move from a state of fear and hesitation to one of clarity and confidence, we unlock the power to live fully, knowing that each decision is a step forward, a learning experience, and an opportunity for growth. From avoidance to empowerment. This book aims to shift the mindset of avoidance, the desire to escape or undo uncomfortable choices, toward one of empowerment. Instead of fearing the consequences of a decision, we can learn to welcome it as part of a continuous journey. Each chapter in this book will guide you to develop a mindset that embraces finality as a tool for creating a purposeful and confident life. Through self-awareness, we can make choices that reflect our true values and desires rather than those imposed by others. Through resilience, we can learn to adapt to outcomes we didn't anticipate, transforming disappointment into strength and wisdom. While the idea of no undo can feel overwhelming, it also brings a sense of freedom. Embracing the finality of choices means acknowledging that mistakes are inevitable, and rather than running from them, we can face them, learn from them, and move forward. It's about cultivating a mindset where each decision, right or wrong, becomes a meaningful piece of our unique story. By shifting our perspective, we see that every choice contributes to a richer, more complex life tapestry. Each chapter in this book will explore different aspects of this journey, from understanding the psychology of decision-making to developing emotional resilience, aligning choices with personal values, and finding peace in our mistakes. The myth of the perfect decision. Much of our hesitation in decision-making stems from the illusion of the perfect choice. We often fall into the trap of believing that if we only had more information, more time, or better circumstances, we could make the one perfect decision that guarantees happiness, success, or fulfillment. This search for perfection leads to a paralyzing fear of making the wrong choice and can leave us in a constant state of indecision. But life is rarely so clear-cut, and the idea of a flawless decision is often a myth. There will always be unknowns, unexpected variables, and aspects of a decision we simply can't control. In reality, every decision involves trade-offs, and each choice will have both positive and negative aspects. What's important is not striving for perfection, but making choices that align with our values and aspirations. This book will help you recognize that while every choice may not lead to immediate gratification, it can still contribute to a fulfilling life when made with intention. Rather than striving for perfection, we aim for alignment, making choices that feel true to who we are, even if they come with challenges. Owning our stories. Ultimately, embracing the finality of our choices means owning our stories. It means understanding that our decisions, each step taken or avoided, each path pursued or passed by, form the chapters of our lives. Rather than viewing each choice as a potential source of regret, we can start to see it as part of a larger narrative that we shape and live by. The choices we make become milestones, memories, and lessons that define us. Each chapter in this book will offer practical tools, insights, and reflections to help you make confident, purposeful choices. You will learn to distinguish between impulsive, fear-driven decisions and those rooted in self-awareness and intentionality. We'll explore the role of emotional resilience in decision-making, teaching you to face choices with a balanced heart and mind. By embracing finality, you will cultivate a deep-seated confidence that allows you to approach life's crossroads with clarity and purpose. In doing so, you'll find that the absence of an undo key is not something to dread, but rather a beautiful aspect of the human experience. It invites us to live each moment fully, knowing that every decision we make shapes not only our present, but also our future selves. So, let us embark on this journey of making thoughtful, courageous choices, accepting that life's finality is what makes it so profoundly meaningful. This book is here to guide you toward living a life marked not by regret or second-guessing, but by confidence, resilience, and unwavering purpose. Chapter 1. The Power of Decision-Making. In every moment, we make decisions, most of which feel trivial and automatic, choosing what to wear, what to eat, or how to respond in casual conversation. Yet, these small choices contribute to the rhythm of our days, the habits we form, and ultimately, the life we build. Beneath the surface of every action lies a profound truth. Our decisions shape who we are, both to ourselves and to the world around us. This chapter dives into the power of decision-making, exploring how each choice, conscious or unconscious, becomes a building block of our character, our relationships, and our potential. The psychology of decision-making, conscious versus unconscious choices. Decision-making is an innate, complex process rooted in both conscious thought and subconscious impulses. Our brains make countless decisions every day without us actively choosing to do so. These unconscious decisions save us time and effort, allowing us to operate in a world of overwhelming stimuli without constantly pausing to evaluate each moment. However, unconscious decisions are shaped by our past experiences, assumptions, biases, and emotional responses, often steering us without our full awareness. For example, imagine you are offered a choice between a salad and a burger. If you unconsciously associate salads with healthy eating and burgers with indulgence, you may select the salad almost automatically, feeling good about your choice without fully considering it. This unconscious decision may align with your health goals, or, conversely, may leave you feeling unsatisfied, subtly influencing your mood and energy levels for the rest of the day. Meanwhile, conscious decisions are those we make with a degree of intentional thought. These choices involve weighing options, anticipating consequences, and aligning actions with values or goals. Conscious decisions often feel more powerful because they are deliberate, a product of intentional effort rather than automatic response. However, conscious decision-making requires time, energy, and a high level of self-awareness, which can be draining if attempted with every small choice. Understanding the distinction between unconscious and conscious decision-making allows us to recognize which choices truly require our attention. By becoming more aware of our habits and autopilot decisions, we can adjust them if necessary and reserve our mental energy for decisions that genuinely impact our lives. The role of decision-making in building character and personal responsibility. Our decisions reveal our character. They reflect our values, beliefs, and priorities, acting as a window into what we find meaningful. When we repeatedly make decisions aligned with kindness, integrity, or perseverance, for instance, we begin to embody these values as character traits. Conversely, if we consistently choose the path of least resistance, selfishness, or deceit, these traits shape how others perceive us and how we view ourselves. Consider a scenario in which a friend needs help moving, but asks on short notice, conflicting with your plans for a relaxing weekend. If you choose to help, you reinforce qualities like reliability and loyalty, potentially strengthening your relationship with your friend. If you choose to decline, explaining your own need for rest, you practice self-care and assert boundaries. Both choices reflect different aspects of your character and values, each carrying its own set of consequences. Taking responsibility for our decisions is essential in cultivating a strong sense of self. Every time we choose to act or not act, we reinforce specific character traits, shaping our future decisions and the lens through which we view our past actions. This doesn't mean we'll always make right decisions. In fact, embracing responsibility includes learning from mistakes, understanding our imperfections, and taking accountability for outcomes without blaming others or external circumstances. Building character through decision-making means committing to a lifelong process of refining our choices and evolving as individuals. Choices as building blocks of our life path. Each decision, no matter how minor, is a building block in the structure of our life. Some choices accumulate gradually over time to create patterns, shaping the course of our lives in subtle but significant ways. For instance, the decision to read every night instead of watching television may lead to a deeper intellectual curiosity, expanded knowledge, and perhaps even new career opportunities down the road. Conversely, a recurring pattern of avoidance, such as consistently delaying difficult conversations, may lead to strained relationships or unresolved issues. While some decisions act as minor adjustments on our journey, others are transformative, marking major turning points. Life-altering decisions, like moving to a new city, switching careers, or choosing a partner, redefine our trajectory in profound ways. The weight of these decisions often causes anxiety and hesitation, as they feel final and often irreversible. However, even the weightiest decisions are built upon smaller, foundational choices, the values we cultivate, the habits we maintain, and the resilience we develop. Understanding the power of decision-making means recognizing that every choice contributes to the bigger picture of our lives. When we start viewing even small decisions through this lens, we can align our choices with a sense of purpose, treating each one as a step toward our vision for the future. Key barriers to confident decision-making. Despite the centrality of decision-making in shaping our lives, many people struggle with making choices confidently. Common barriers include fear of failure, perfectionism, and the anxiety of regret. These mental hurdles can cloud our judgment, leading to indecision or, in some cases, avoidance altogether. Exploring these barriers provides insight into why decision-making can be so challenging and offers a path to overcoming them. Fear of failure. This is one of the most common obstacles to confident decision-making. Many people are afraid of making the wrong choice, fearing it will lead to irreversible damage or missed opportunities. While this fear is understandable, it is also paralyzing, as it prevents us from taking risks and seizing potential rewards. To combat this fear, it helps to remember that failure is often a stepping stone to success. Each misstep provides valuable insights that can improve future decisions. Perfectionism, the pursuit of a perfect decision, can lead to what is known as analysis paralysis, where overthinking prevents action. Perfectionism stems from a desire for control, a belief that by making the perfect choice, we can guarantee an optimal outcome. However, perfection is often an illusion, as life's complexities rarely allow for flawless decisions. Recognizing the impossibility of perfection frees us to make choices that are good enough, prioritizing action over endless deliberation. Fear of regret. Regret can be a powerful and lingering emotion, often causing us to avoid decisions out of fear that we may look back with remorse. However, reframing regret as a natural part of growth can reduce its grip on our lives. Instead of viewing regret as something to avoid, we can see it as an opportunity to learn and refine our decision-making process. Developing a growth-oriented decision-making mindset. To harness the power of decision-making, it's essential to adopt a growth-oriented mindset, one that views each decision as an opportunity to learn, regardless of the outcome. This mindset enables us to approach choices with curiosity and openness, allowing room for flexibility and adaptation. Rather than viewing decisions as rigid pass or fail moments, a growth mindset invites us to see them as experiments, each offering valuable feedback that contributes to our personal development. By focusing on growth, we shift our attention from the fear of making mistakes to the joy of discovery. We begin to appreciate the journey rather than fixating on the destination, allowing ourselves to make choices with a sense of adventure and resilience. With this mindset, mistakes become lessons, failures become stepping stones, and successes become sources of motivation. Building the habit of mindful decision-making. Mindful decision-making is a practice of pausing, reflecting, and aligning our choices with our values. In a world that often demands quick answers, mindful decision-making encourages us to slow down, giving us the space to consider the implications of each choice fully. Here are some steps to begin cultivating a habit of mindful decision-making. Pause before acting. Take a moment to breathe before responding to a choice. This pause creates mental space to assess the situation and recognize if the decision aligns with your goals. Reflect on values. Ask yourself how the decision aligns with your core values. Will it bring you closer to the person you want to be? Or is it influenced by temporary impulses or external pressures? Visualize potential outcomes. Take a moment to visualize the consequences of each option. This exercise helps in recognizing possible rewards and risks, allowing for a more balanced evaluation. Trust your instincts. While logic plays a critical role, intuition can provide valuable insights, especially in complex situations where not all information is available. Trust your gut if a choice feels inherently right or wrong. Take responsibility, commit to the choice and prepare to learn from the outcome, whatever it may be. This sense of ownership reinforces confidence and resilience, setting a positive precedent for future decisions. The power of decision-making lies in our ability to shape our lives intentionally, recognizing that every choice is a small step in building a meaningful, fulfilling path. By cultivating self-awareness, overcoming mental barriers, and embracing a growth mindset, we can approach decisions with clarity and confidence. Rather than fearing the weight of our choices, we learn to wield it, making decisions that reflect who we are and who we wish to become. Chapter 2. Knowing yourself before making choices. The decisions we make reflect who we are, but to make choices that truly resonate with our goals and values, we must first understand ourselves. Self-knowledge is the foundation of intentional decision-making. It's the lens that allows us to discern which options align with our authentic selves. This chapter explores the importance of self-awareness, providing readers with tools to uncover personal values, strengths, and aspirations. With a deep understanding of ourselves, we become empowered to make choices that bring us closer to the life we envision, instead of simply reacting to circumstances. The role of self-awareness in confident decision-making. Self-awareness is the ability to see ourselves clearly, understanding our motivations, emotional triggers, and habitual responses. It involves an honest assessment of our desires, fears, values, and behaviors, providing a compass that guides our choices. When we know ourselves, we are better equipped to make decisions that not only feel right in the moment, but also contribute to our long-term happiness and fulfillment. Without self-awareness, we risk making decisions that are out of sync with our true needs and values. We might pursue a career path because it seems prestigious or fulfilling to others, rather than because it aligns with our genuine interests. Similarly, we may enter relationships or commitments that don't fulfill us, simply because they seem to be the next logical step. By cultivating self-awareness, we reduce the likelihood of these disconnects, making choices that are more likely to foster inner peace and satisfaction. Self-awareness also makes us less vulnerable to external influences and societal pressures. In a world that constantly tries to dictate what success, happiness, and fulfillment look like, knowing ourselves helps us resist following trends that may not serve our personal journey. It allows us to tune out noise and listen to our inner voice, even when it leads us down a less conventional path. Exploring personal values. At the heart of self-awareness are our values, those core beliefs and principles that shape how we view the world and guide our actions. Values often drive our deepest motivations and influence our sense of purpose. For instance, someone who values community and connection might find joy in roles that allow them to work closely with others, while a person who values independence might be more fulfilled in a career that offers autonomy. To make meaningful choices, it's essential to identify your values. Here are some exercises to help clarify your values. Values inventory. Write down 10 values that you believe are important to you. Examples might include honesty, creativity, responsibility, compassion, or ambition. Next, rank them by importance. Narrowing down to your top 5 core values can reveal what you prioritize and help you make decisions that honor these values. Reflect on high points. Think about moments in your life when you felt proud or fulfilled. What was happening, and why did you feel that way? Often, these high points align with moments when we acted according to our values. For instance, if you felt proud after volunteering, compassion and service might be part of your core values. Examine role models. Consider people you admire and the traits they embody. Often, we admire qualities that reflect our own values or aspirations. If you're drawn to someone for their courage or creativity, these qualities might resonate with your own values. Once you've clarified your values, use them as a reference point in decision-making. When faced with a choice, ask yourself if it aligns with your core values. Decisions that reflect your values will feel more fulfilling and purposeful, while those that contradict them may lead to regret or dissatisfaction. Understanding strengths and weaknesses. Knowing your strengths and weaknesses provides insight into the type of decisions that will maximize your potential and minimize frustration. Our strengths are the skills and qualities that come naturally to us, while our weaknesses are areas where we may struggle or feel challenged. Recognizing both allows us to make decisions that play to our strengths, while also identifying areas for growth or improvement. How to identify your strengths and weaknesses. Personal reflection. Think about tasks you enjoy and find easy. These often align with your strengths. Are you a great communicator? Do you enjoy problem solving, or are you skilled at organizing? Conversely, tasks you consistently avoid or find draining may reveal areas of weakness. Feedback from others. Sometimes, those closest to us have valuable insight into our strengths and weaknesses. Ask trusted friends, family, or colleagues for their honest feedback. They may highlight skills you've overlooked or point out patterns that can clarify areas for improvement. Skills assessment tools. Many online tools and personality assessments, such as the Clifton Strengths or Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, MBTI, can provide structured insights into your strengths and preferred ways of thinking and interacting. While these tools shouldn't define you, they can offer useful starting points for self-reflection. Once you understand your strengths, aim to make choices that allow you to utilize them. If creativity is a strength, prioritize decisions that allow for innovation and original thinking. Similarly, acknowledge and work on your weaknesses. If you find time management challenging, implement strategies to improve in this area, such as setting reminders or using productivity tools. Identifying aspirations and goals. Aspirations are our dreams, our vision for the future, and the goals that drive us forward. They may be related to career, relationships, personal development, or even the legacy we want to leave behind. Knowing your aspirations provides a clear destination to aim for, guiding your choices in a purposeful direction. Exercises to clarify your aspirations. Vision exercise. Picture your ideal life in 5, 10, or even 20 years. Consider aspects like career, relationships, health, personal interests, and lifestyle. Write down what this vision looks like in detail. Visualizing your future self can help reveal underlying aspirations and the steps needed to get there. Goal setting. Once you have a vision in mind, break it down into specific, measurable goals. If your vision involves becoming a skilled musician, for example, create short-term goals like dedicating an hour a day to practice or taking lessons. Clear goals provide a roadmap, turning dreams into actionable steps. Identify role models. Look to individuals who have achieved what you aspire to do. Study their journey and reflect on the decisions they made along the way. What sacrifices did they make, and what qualities helped them succeed? While everyone's path is unique, understanding the trajectory of those you admire can offer insights into your own aspirations. Reflecting on past experiences. Our past experiences shape our perspectives, attitudes, and responses to future situations. They provide context for understanding what has worked for us and what hasn't. Reflecting on these experiences allows us to identify patterns and lessons, empowering us to make more informed decisions. Steps to analyze past decisions. Review positive and negative outcomes. Think back on major decisions that had a lasting impact, whether positive or negative. Reflect on what led you to make those choices and the outcomes that followed. What did you learn, and how can that insight guide your future decisions? Identify patterns. Look for recurring themes in your choices. Do you often avoid confrontation, or do you tend to prioritize security over passion? Identifying these patterns reveals your natural tendencies and helps you recognize when to adjust or stay the course. Ask, what would I do differently? Reflect on decisions that didn't turn out as you'd hoped. While it's unproductive to dwell on the past, it's valuable to consider what you might do differently in a similar situation. This type of reflection fosters growth and prepares you to make more aligned decisions in the future. Tools for deepening self-understanding. Self-reflection doesn't happen overnight, it's an ongoing process that evolves as we grow. Here are some practical tools to deepen self-understanding. Journaling. Keeping a journal provides a safe space to explore your thoughts, feelings, and patterns. Writing regularly about your choices, emotions, and experiences promotes self-awareness and helps you track personal growth over time. Mindfulness meditation. Practicing mindfulness helps you stay present, which is essential for understanding how you respond to different situations. By observing your thoughts and reactions without judgment, you gain clarity about your inner self and can make choices rooted in a calm, focused state. Daily reflection. Spend a few minutes at the end of each day reflecting on the choices you made. Were they aligned with your values? Did they bring you closer to your goals? Daily reflection keeps you attuned to your actions, helping you adjust when necessary. Therapy or coaching, professional guidance can offer deeper insights into patterns and behaviors that may be difficult to recognize on your own. Therapists or life coaches provide a neutral perspective and offer tools to help you understand yourself on a deeper level. Making choices aligned with your true self. Once you have a strong sense of self, your decision-making becomes clearer and more intentional. When faced with a choice, pause and ask yourself how it aligns with your values, strengths, and goals. For example, if you're considering a job offer that requires extensive travel, but you value family time, reflect on whether this choice truly aligns with your priorities. Life will continually present choices that challenge our self-awareness, but by consistently practicing introspection, we become more adept at recognizing when a decision resonates with our true self. Making choices aligned with who we are allows us to experience a greater sense of fulfillment and integrity. Key takeaways. Self-awareness is the foundation of intentional decision-making. Knowing your values, strengths, weaknesses, and aspirations helps you make choices that reflect your authentic self. Personal values serve as a compass for decision-making. Identifying what you truly value allows you to make choices that bring meaning and satisfaction. Understanding your strengths and weaknesses empowers you to choose paths that maximize your potential while identifying areas for growth. Reflecting on past experiences helps you recognize patterns and learn from past decisions, making you a more informed and resilient decision-maker. Practical tools like journaling, mindfulness, and daily reflection promote ongoing self-awareness and ensure that your choices remain aligned with your true self. By developing a strong sense of self, you gain the confidence to make choices that feel right and meaningful. Knowing yourself is an evolving journey that requires patience and dedication, but the reward is a life filled with purpose and authenticity, where each decision feels like a step toward becoming the person you were meant to be. Chapter 3. Understanding the consequences of choices. In life, every choice we make sets off a ripple of consequences, shaping our future in visible and subtle ways. From deciding what to study in college to choosing how we spend our free time, each decision contributes to the overall direction of our lives. Understanding these consequences empowers us to make choices with a clearer vision of what lies ahead. By learning to anticipate, evaluate, and balance the short and long-term effects of our decisions, we build a framework that fosters intentional living. This chapter explores the importance of examining consequences before we act, the value of long-term thinking, and the art of balancing risks with rewards. Together, these skills help us make decisions that support our goals and aspirations while minimizing regret. The power of consequence awareness. Most of us are familiar with the impulse to dive into choices without fully thinking through the potential consequences. We may act on gut feelings, pressure from others, or an urge for instant gratification. However, when we pause to consider the outcomes of a choice, we gain clarity and control over its potential impact. Consequence awareness is the practice of considering how each decision will influence our lives both now and in the future. It requires us to pause and ask critical questions. What might happen if I choose this path? Will it bring me closer to my goals or pull me away from them? By contemplating these questions, we train ourselves to think ahead, reducing impulsivity and enabling wiser choices. Consequences don't exist in isolation, they affect various areas of our lives, from relationships to health, finances, and well-being. For example, a decision to accept a high-stress job may lead to greater financial security, but could affect personal time and stress levels. By being aware of the potential ripple effect, we make choices with eyes wide open, better prepared for the results. Distinguishing between short-term and long-term consequences. Understanding the difference between short-term and long-term consequences is essential to making decisions that align with our values and goals. Short-term consequences are the immediate outcomes we experience, often bringing quick satisfaction or relief. Long-term consequences, however, are the enduring effects that may unfold over months, years, or even a lifetime. While short-term benefits may be tempting, focusing only on the immediate results can lead us to overlook the broader impact of our choices. The allure of immediate gratification. Human nature is wired for immediate gratification. Quick rewards light up the pleasure centers in our brain, releasing dopamine and giving us a temporary sense of satisfaction. But this tendency can lead us to prioritize choices that feel good in the moment while neglecting those with lasting benefits. Choosing to indulge in unhealthy food, for example, provides a short-term sense of pleasure, but can lead to health issues in the long term. To counter the allure of immediate gratification, practice asking yourself, will this choice help or hinder my long-term well-being? A choice that may not feel instantly rewarding, like saving money rather than spending it impulsively, or committing to a long-term project, can provide greater satisfaction and success over time. Developing patience for long-term rewards. Patience is essential when it comes to making decisions that yield long-term rewards. Developing patience means becoming comfortable with delayed gratification, trusting that today's investments will bear fruit later on. For instance, building a career, cultivating a relationship, or working toward personal growth may not show immediate results, but the long-term benefits can be deeply rewarding. To foster patience, try visualizing the future benefits of a decision. If you're considering a choice that requires delayed gratification, think of how you'll feel months or years from now if you commit to it. Visualization helps reinforce the future rewards in your mind, making it easier to resist the pull of instant satisfaction. Practical tips for balancing short and long-term thinking. Use the 10th of October 10 rule. This technique, developed by author Susie Welsh, encourages you to ask, how will I feel about this choice in 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years? This exercise puts short and long-term consequences into perspective, making it easier to make decisions that balance both. Create a long-term vision statement. Articulate your broader goals and values. When you have a clear vision for your future, it's easier to recognize which choices align with that vision and which may distract from it. This perspective serves as a guiding compass for making decisions that support long-term success. Weigh short-term sacrifices against long-term gains. Consider the benefits of making temporary sacrifices for long-term rewards. For instance, committing time to study or work on a skill may limit social time in the present, but can open doors to new opportunities down the road. Evaluating risks and rewards in decision-making. Every choice involves an element of risk and reward. To make effective decisions, we must assess these factors thoughtfully. Risk-taking can lead to significant growth and rewards, but reckless choices can lead to negative outcomes. By understanding how to evaluate and balance risks with potential benefits, we can make choices that foster growth without exposing ourselves to unnecessary harm. The psychology of risk. Fear versus opportunity. Risk often evokes fear, which can inhibit us from pursuing new opportunities. Our brains are wired to prioritize safety, interpreting unfamiliar situations as threats. However, avoiding risks entirely can lead to stagnation and missed chances for growth. The key is learning to differentiate between constructive risks, which offer valuable opportunities, and reckless risks, which are more likely to result in negative consequences. Fear of failure is a common barrier to risk-taking. This fear can make us overly cautious, leading us to stay in our comfort zone. Recognizing that failure is a natural part of growth can help us overcome this fear. Many successful individuals attribute their achievements to lessons learned from previous failures, seeing each setback as a stepping stone toward success. Strategies for weighing risks and rewards. Create a pros and cons list. List the advantages and disadvantages of a choice, considering both short and long-term outcomes. This exercise can clarify the potential rewards of a risk, as well as any significant drawbacks. By laying out the pros and cons, you create an objective overview that helps you make a more balanced decision. Assess the worst-case scenario. Consider the worst possible outcome of a decision. If you can accept the consequences of the worst-case scenario, the decision may be worth pursuing. If the worst-case outcome is too severe, it may be a sign to reconsider or find an alternative path. Visualize the potential rewards. Imagining the benefits of a choice can help you evaluate whether the potential rewards outweigh the risks. Visualization strengthens motivation and clarifies whether the possible positive outcomes are worth the risk. Start with small risks. If you're risk-averse, try building your tolerance by starting with small risks. Each successful risk can boost your confidence and prepare you for larger, more impactful decisions. Calculate the opportunity cost. Opportunity cost refers to the potential benefits you miss out on by choosing one option over another. When evaluating a choice, consider what you might be giving up by not taking the risk. This perspective often reveals hidden rewards and can make the benefits of taking a chance more apparent. How to handle unexpected consequences. Despite our best efforts to anticipate outcomes, life is unpredictable, and unexpected consequences are inevitable. Learning to adapt when outcomes don't go as planned is an essential skill for resilient decision-making. Rather than allowing unexpected consequences to derail us, we can view them as opportunities to learn and grow. Embracing adaptability. Adaptability is the ability to adjust to new circumstances with an open mind. When faced with an unexpected outcome, adaptability allows us to reassess, make adjustments, and keep moving forward. For example, if a career decision doesn't yield the expected success, adaptability allows us to learn from the experience, refine our approach, and explore new possibilities. Cultivating adaptability involves embracing a growth mindset, which sees challenges and setbacks as opportunities for learning rather than as fixed obstacles. With a growth mindset, we view unexpected outcomes not as failures, but as part of the natural process of growth. Reframing setbacks as learning opportunities. One of the most powerful ways to handle unexpected consequences is to reframe them as valuable lessons. Every choice, even those that don't work out as planned, teaches us something about ourselves and our approach. By analyzing what went wrong, we gain insights that inform future decisions, helping us make choices that better align with our goals. When reflecting on a setback, ask yourself, what could I have done differently? This question helps identify areas for improvement. What did I learn from this experience? Focusing on lessons learned shifts the focus from regret to growth. How can I apply this knowledge moving forward? Use the insights gained to make adjustments and refine your approach. Practical exercises for evaluating consequences. 1. Outcome visualization. Practice visualizing the possible outcomes of your choices. For each option you're considering, imagine the best case, worst case, and most likely scenarios. Reflect on how each scenario would impact you emotionally, mentally, and practically. Visualization can deepen your understanding of each choice, allowing you to weigh consequences more accurately. 2. The 10th of October 10 exercise. When faced with a significant choice, ask yourself, how will I feel about this in 10 minutes? How will I feel in 10 months? How will I feel in 10 years? This exercise encourages a balanced perspective, helping you assess whether a decision holds value in both the short and long term. 3. Journaling reflection on past decisions. Reflecting on past decisions is an excellent way to understand how consequences unfold over time. Choose a few significant past decisions and write about the outcomes, both expected and unexpected. What did you learn from each experience? How did each decision shape your life? This practice builds consequence awareness and informs your future decision-making. Key takeaways. Consequence awareness helps us understand the impact of our choices on various aspects of life. Balancing short-term and long-term consequences empowers us to make choices that serve both immediate needs and future goals. Evaluating risks and rewards teaches us to make choices that support growth while minimizing unnecessary harm. Handling unexpected outcomes builds adaptability, fostering a growth mindset that turns setbacks into valuable lessons. By understanding the consequences of our choices, we create a solid foundation for intentional living. This practice encourages us to approach each decision with awareness, aligning our actions with our goals and values. Chapter 4. Recognizing and managing external influences. In the intricate web of life, our choices are seldom made in isolation. External influences, ranging from societal expectations and cultural norms to media portrayals and peer pressure, play a significant role in shaping our decisions. Understanding and managing these influences is crucial for making choices that are truly aligned with our personal values and aspirations. This chapter delves into the various external factors that impact our decision-making processes, explores the distinction between internal desires and external expectations, and provides strategies to minimize undue external pressures, empowering you to make authentic and purposeful choices. The spectrum of external influences. External influences encompass a broad range of factors that can subtly or overtly steer our decisions. These influences can be categorized into several key areas. Social pressure, the expectations and norms imposed by family, friends, colleagues, and society at large. Cultural norms, the shared beliefs, values, and practices inherent in a particular culture or community. Media influence, the impact of television, social media, advertising, and other forms of media on our perceptions and choices. Economic factors, financial pressures and economic conditions that dictate or limit our options. Educational and professional expectations, the standards and expectations set by educational institutions and workplaces. Understanding the diverse sources of external influence is the first step in recognizing their impact on our decision-making. How social pressure shapes our choices. Social pressure refers to the influence exerted by individuals or groups to conform to certain behaviors, attitudes, or beliefs. This pressure can be both explicit and implicit, often compelling us to align our actions with the expectations of those around us. Examples of social pressure. Career choices. Selecting a career path based on family expectations rather than personal passion. Lifestyle decisions. Adopting certain fashion trends or purchasing specific products to fit in with peers. Relationship dynamics. Entering or maintaining relationships due to societal norms about marriage or partnership. The impact of social pressure. Social pressure can lead to choices that may not reflect our true desires or best interests. It can create a conflict between individuality and conformity, often resulting in decisions that prioritize acceptance over personal fulfillment. The role of cultural norms in decision-making. Cultural norms are the established standards of behavior and belief within a particular society or group. These norms dictate what is considered acceptable or unacceptable, shaping our values and expectations from a young age. Examples of cultural norms. Educational attainment, valuing higher education as a path to success. Gender roles, prescribing specific roles and behaviors based on gender. Community involvement, emphasizing the importance of contributing to the community or upholding family honor. Navigating cultural norms. While cultural norms provide a sense of identity and belonging, they can also limit individual expression and choice. It is essential to critically assess which cultural expectations resonate with your personal values and which ones may hinder your authentic self-expression. Media influence, shaping perceptions and desires. The media plays a pervasive role in influencing our decisions by shaping our perceptions of reality, success, beauty, and happiness. From advertisements to social media, the messages we receive can significantly impact our values and choices. Examples of media influence. Consumer behavior. Advertising persuades us to purchase products by associating them with happiness or success. Body image. Media portrayals of ideal body types can influence our self-esteem and health choices. Lifestyle aspirations. Depictions of luxury and success can create unrealistic expectations and desires. Mitigating media influence. To manage media influence effectively. Cultivate media literacy. Develop the ability to critically analyze and evaluate media messages. Limit exposure. Reduce consumption of media sources that promote unhealthy or unrealistic standards. Seek diverse perspectives. Engage with a variety of media outlets to gain a more balanced view of the world. Economic factors and decision-making. Economic conditions and financial pressures are significant external influences that can constrain or direct our choices. From budgeting and career decisions to lifestyle preferences, financial considerations often play a pivotal role. Examples of economic influences. Career selection. Choosing a high-paying job over a lower-paying passion project due to financial necessity. Housing decisions. Selecting a home based on affordability rather than personal preference. Education choices. Opting for institutions that offer financial aid rather than those that best fit academic goals. Strategies to navigate economic pressures. Financial planning. Develop a comprehensive financial plan to understand and manage your resources effectively. Prioritize goals. Align your financial decisions with your long-term goals and values. Seek financial advice. Consult with financial advisors to make informed decisions that balance economic constraints with personal aspirations. Educational and professional expectations. Educational institutions and workplaces often set high standards and expectations that can significantly influence our decisions. These expectations can shape our career paths, personal development, and even our self-worth. Examples of educational and professional pressures. Academic performance. Striving for high grades to meet parental or societal expectations. Career advancement. Pursuing promotions or leadership roles to align with professional norms. Work-life balance. Adhering to workplace cultures that may undervalue personal time and well-being. Balancing expectations with personal goals. To manage educational and professional pressures. Set personal benchmarks. Define success on your own terms rather than solely based on external standards. Communicate needs. Advocate for your personal and professional needs within educational and workplace environments. Foster a support network. Surround yourself with mentors and peers who support your individual growth and aspirations. Differentiating between internal desires and external expectations. One of the most critical skills in managing external influences is the ability to distinguish between what you genuinely want and what is being imposed upon you by others. This differentiation ensures that your decisions are aligned with your authentic self rather than merely satisfying external pressures. Techniques to differentiate desires from expectations. Self-reflection. Regularly engage in self-reflection to understand your true desires and motivations. Journaling, meditation, and introspective conversations can aid in this process. Value assessment. Revisit your personal values to determine if a decision aligns with them. If a choice feels misaligned, it may be driven by external expectations. Seek objective feedback. Discuss your decisions with trusted individuals who can provide unbiased perspectives, helping you identify whether your choices are self-driven or influenced by others. Visualize outcomes. Envision the outcomes of your choices and assess whether they resonate with your long-term goals and happiness. Strategies for reducing external pressures on decision-making. Minimizing the impact of external influences requires intentional strategies that prioritize your well-being and authentic self-expression. Here are effective approaches to achieve this. 1. Establish clear personal boundaries. Setting boundaries helps protect your decision-making space from unwanted external pressures. This involves communicating limits. Clearly articulate your limits to others regarding what influences you will entertain. Saying no. Develop the confidence to decline requests or suggestions that do not align with your values or goals. Prioritizing self-care. Allocate time and resources for activities that nurture your well-being and reinforce your personal boundaries. 2. Develop a strong sense of self. A robust self-identity acts as a shield against external pressures. To strengthen your sense of self, pursue personal interests. Engage in activities and hobbies that reflect your passions and interests. Self-education. Continuously educate yourself about topics that matter to you, fostering a deeper understanding of your beliefs and values. Mindfulness practices. Incorporate mindfulness techniques to stay grounded and connected to your inner self. 3. Cultivate critical thinking skills. Enhancing your ability to analyze and evaluate information critically can help you discern the validity and relevance of external influences. Steps include: question assumptions. Challenge the assumptions behind the influences you encounter. Evaluate sources. Assess the credibility and intent of the sources providing information or pressure. Seek diverse perspectives. Exposure to varied viewpoints can broaden your understanding and reduce susceptibility to narrow influences. 4. Surround yourself with supportive individuals. Building a network of supportive and like-minded individuals reinforces your ability to resist negative external pressures. This network provides encouragement. Supportive friends and mentors encourage you to pursue your authentic choices. Accountability. Trusted individuals can hold you accountable to your values and goals. Positive reinforcement. Receiving positive feedback from those who understand your aspirations reinforces your commitment to making authentic decisions. 5. Limit exposure to negative influences. Proactively reducing exposure to sources of unwanted influence can significantly impact your decision-making autonomy. Strategies include: curate media consumption. Select media sources that align with your values and limit those that promote negative or conflicting messages. Manage social interactions. Spend more time with individuals who support your authentic self and less with those who impose undue pressure. Create a positive environment. Design your physical and virtual environments to reflect and support your personal goals and values. Practical exercises to manage external influences. Implementing strategies to recognize and manage external influences requires consistent practice. Here are some exercises to help you integrate these strategies into your daily life. 1. Influence journal. Maintain a journal dedicated to tracking external influences and their impact on your decisions. Daily entries. Record instances where external factors influenced your choices. Analysis. Reflect on whether these influences aligned with your values and goals. Action steps. Identify steps to mitigate negative influences and reinforce positive ones. 2. Role-playing scenarios. Engage in role-playing exercises to practice resisting external pressures. Scenario creation. Develop common situations where you feel pressured to conform. Role-play. Act out responses that assert your boundaries and prioritize your desires. Feedback. Seek feedback from trusted individuals to refine your responses. 3. Value alignment checklist. Create a checklist to evaluate how well your choices align with your core values. List your values. Clearly outline your top 5 personal values. Decision assessment. For each significant decision, use the checklist to assess alignment. Adjust accordingly. Use the insights to make adjustments or reaffirm your choices. 4. Media Detox Challenge. Participate in a media detox to evaluate the impact of media on your decision-making. Set a duration. Choose a specific period, e.g., 1 week, to limit or eliminate certain media exposures. Monitor changes. Observe how reducing media consumption affects your thoughts, feelings, and choices. Reflect. Use this experience to make informed decisions about future media consumption habits. Case studies. Real-life examples of managing external influences. Case study 1. Career choice amidst family expectations. Situation. Sarah, a recent college graduate, feels pressured by her family to pursue a stable career in finance. However, her passion lies in the arts. Challenge. Balancing family expectations with her desire for a fulfilling career. Strategy. Self-reflection. Sarah used journaling to explore her true interests and values. Value assessment. She identified creativity and personal fulfillment as core values. Communication. Sarah had an open conversation with her family, expressing her passion and outlining her career plan in the arts. Support network. She sought mentors in the arts to build confidence and gain guidance. Outcome. Sarah successfully transitioned into a career in graphic design, finding satisfaction and support from her family over time. Case study 2. Social media influence on lifestyle choices. Situation. Mark, a young professional, finds himself constantly influenced by social media trends, leading to unnecessary expenditures on gadgets and fashion to keep up with his peers. Challenge. Reducing the impact of social media on his financial decisions and self-esteem. Strategy. Media literacy. Mark educated himself about the persuasive tactics used in advertising and social media. Curated feed. He unfollowed accounts that promoted materialism and followed those that aligned with his interests and values. Mindfulness practice. Mark incorporated mindfulness meditation to become more aware of his impulses and make deliberate spending choices. Financial planning. He developed a budget that prioritized savings and meaningful investments over impulsive purchases. Outcome. Mark gained better control over his finances, reduced stress related to financial pressures, and improved his overall well-being by focusing on authentic interests. Overcoming common challenges in managing external influences. Even with awareness and strategies, managing external influences can present challenges. Here are common obstacles and ways to overcome them. 1. Subtle pressures. Not all external influences are overt. Subtle pressures, such as implicit biases or societal expectations, can be harder to identify and resist. Solution. Heightened awareness. Cultivate mindfulness to recognize subtle influences. Critical thinking. Regularly question underlying assumptions behind societal norms and expectations. Self-check questions. Implement daily questions like, is this choice truly mine, or am I influenced by others? 2. Fear of rejection or isolation. Resisting external pressures, especially from close relationships, can lead to fears of rejection or social isolation. Solution. Assertiveness training. Develop assertive communication skills to express your needs and boundaries respectfully. Seek supportive communities. Engage with groups and individuals who respect and support your authentic choices. Gradual changes. Make gradual adjustments to minimize shock and allow others to adapt to your evolving choices. 3. Overwhelming external demands. Balancing multiple external demands can lead to decision fatigue and burnout. Solution. Prioritization. Identify which external influences are most significant and prioritize managing them. Delegation. Where possible, delegate tasks or responsibilities to reduce overload. Self-care practices. Incorporate regular self-care routines to maintain mental and emotional resilience. Building long-term resilience against external influences. Developing resilience against external pressures is an ongoing process that involves strengthening your inner resources and maintaining a steadfast commitment to your values and goals. 1. Continuous self-education. Stay informed about the tactics used to influence decisions, whether through advertising, social norms, or peer pressure. Understanding these mechanisms enhances your ability to recognize and counteract them. 2. Reinforcing personal values. Regularly revisit and reinforce your personal values. This reinforcement acts as a compass, guiding you back to your authentic self when external pressures attempt to sway your decisions. 3. Developing emotional intelligence. Enhancing your emotional intelligence allows you to manage your emotions effectively, reducing the likelihood of making impulsive decisions based on external stressors or pressures. 4. Practicing self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you struggle with external influences. Acknowledge that resisting societal pressures is challenging and commend yourself for the efforts you make toward authentic living. Key takeaways. Awareness of external influences. Recognizing the various external factors that impact your decision-making is the first step in managing them effectively. Differentiating desires from expectations. Developing the ability to distinguish between your internal desires and external expectations ensures that your choices are aligned with your true self. Strategic management. Implementing strategies such as setting boundaries, cultivating a strong sense of self, and enhancing critical thinking skills empowers you to resist undue external pressures. Practical tools and exercises. Engaging in practical exercises like influence journaling, role-playing, and media detox challenges can reinforce your ability to manage external influences. Building resilience. Long-term resilience against external pressures is achieved through continuous self-education, reinforcing personal values, developing emotional intelligence, and practicing self-compassion. By understanding and managing external influences, you reclaim the autonomy to make decisions that reflect your authentic self. This empowerment not only leads to more fulfilling and purposeful choices, but also fosters a life lived with confidence and integrity. Embrace the journey of discerning and mitigating external pressures, and step into a life where your choices are truly your own. Chapter 5. Developing emotional resilience for better choices. In a world where decisions shape the course of our lives, emotions play an inevitable role in how we think, act, and ultimately choose. Emotional resilience, the ability to manage and adapt positively in the face of stress, adversity, or uncertainty, is crucial in making better, more confident decisions. This chapter delves deeply into the role of emotions in decision-making, exploring techniques to understand, control, and harness emotions effectively. Emotional resilience not only leads to healthier mental well-being, but also promotes clarity and a sense of peace with our choices, regardless of the outcomes. The role of emotions in decision-making. Every decision is an emotional experience. Whether we realize it or not, feelings of excitement, anxiety, fear, or hope all shape how we perceive options and influence the choices we ultimately make. While emotions can enrich our experiences and give us valuable insights into what we truly desire, they can also cloud judgment, lead to impulsivity, and cause us to second-guess ourselves. Understanding emotions as information. Emotions are not random, they are signals, conveying critical information about our environment and internal state. For instance, fear may indicate a potential risk, while excitement can signify alignment with personal values or goals. Developing emotional resilience doesn't mean suppressing emotions, but rather learning to interpret and use them constructively. The dual impact of positive and negative emotions. Both positive and negative emotions can influence decisions beneficially or detrimentally. For instance, a feeling of excitement can motivate us to pursue challenging goals, but it may also lead to impulsive decisions. Conversely, feelings of fear can prompt caution, yet if overwhelming, they might lead to missed opportunities. Recognizing these dual impacts allows for a more balanced, informed decision-making process. Techniques to develop emotional awareness. Building emotional resilience begins with awareness. This awareness involves recognizing emotions as they arise, understanding their origins, and gauging their intensity. Here are some effective techniques for developing emotional awareness. Mindfulness meditation. Mindfulness meditation trains the mind to observe emotions as they come and go without judgment. By taking a few minutes each day to sit in silence and focus on breathing, we can learn to identify emotions in the moment, allowing us to address them calmly rather than reactively. Over time, mindfulness enhances our ability to pause before making a decision, giving us greater control over impulsive actions. Emotion journaling. Keeping an emotion journal is another effective way to develop self-awareness. By recording feelings, situations, and responses, we can track patterns, identifying emotions that consistently arise during specific decision-making scenarios. This habit not only strengthens self-awareness, but also provides insight into emotional triggers and habitual responses. Naming emotions. Simply labeling an emotion, such as anxiety, fear, or excitement, can reduce its intensity. By naming our emotions, we create a slight psychological distance that allows us to examine them more objectively. This technique is a quick and effective way to take control during emotionally charged situations. Body scanning. Physical sensations often accompany emotions. A tight chest, shallow breath, or tense muscles can signal stress or anxiety, while a sense of lightness might indicate joy or excitement. Practicing body scans, mentally checking each part of the body for tension, can help identify underlying emotions, even when they're not immediately apparent. Building emotional resilience. Techniques to strengthen control and response. Once we're aware of our emotions, the next step is developing the ability to respond constructively rather than react impulsively. Emotional resilience involves managing reactions, especially in moments of heightened stress, so that emotions support rather than hinder the decision-making process. Cognitive reappraisal. Cognitive reappraisal involves changing the way we perceive an emotional trigger. For example, rather than seeing a challenging choice as an obstacle, we can frame it as an opportunity for growth. By consciously reappraising situations, we can regulate emotional responses, reducing anxiety and improving decision clarity. Practicing self-compassion. Self-compassion, the ability to treat oneself with kindness and understanding, especially after setbacks, supports emotional resilience. By allowing ourselves to be human and imperfect, we alleviate the pressure to make flawless decisions. Self-compassion promotes forgiveness for mistakes, making it easier to approach future choices with a fresh, open perspective. Developing a pause and breathe habit. In emotionally charged moments, a simple pause can prevent rash decisions. Practicing the habit of taking 3 deep breaths when feeling overwhelmed slows down the automatic response system, creating a gap between feeling and action. This short pause provides a moment to reflect, recalibrate, and make choices based on logic as well as intuition. Visualizing positive outcomes. Visualization is a powerful tool for emotional management. By picturing a successful outcome to a choice we're struggling with, we reinforce positive emotions and reduce anxiety. This technique helps solidify a confident approach to decision-making, especially when facing uncertain or challenging scenarios. Handling regret, guilt, and second-guessing. Regret and guilt often arise after a decision is made, particularly if the outcome is not as expected. These emotions can undermine confidence, making it difficult to trust ourselves when making future choices. Emotional resilience involves addressing these feelings head-on, learning from them, and moving forward without allowing them to cloud future decisions. Reframing regret as growth. Instead of viewing regret as a sign of failure, it can be reframed as an opportunity for growth. Ask, what did I learn from this? Or how can I apply this lesson in the future? This shift in perspective changes regret from a source of pain to a valuable insight, which reinforces resilience. Limiting what-if thinking. Second-guessing a choice often leads to what-if scenarios that rarely offer solutions. Instead of dwelling on hypothetical outcomes, focus on the present by asking, what can I do now? This approach keeps attention grounded in reality, where choices are actionable and productive. Self-forgiveness exercises. Self-forgiveness is essential for releasing guilt. Take time to forgive yourself intentionally through journaling, affirmations, or even a self-compassion meditation. By forgiving past choices, we open ourselves to future decisions without the baggage of past guilt. Setting boundaries with negative self-talk. Negative self-talk, such as "I always make the wrong choice," damages self-trust and resilience. Practice setting boundaries with these thoughts by identifying and reframing them with more constructive statements, like "I'm learning from every decision." Over time, this practice strengthens resilience and reinforces self-belief. Using emotional resilience to navigate difficult choices. Emotional resilience is most valuable when navigating challenging, high-stakes choices, those decisions where outcomes are uncertain and stakes feel high. Here, resilience supports not only the courage to make the choice, but also the strength to accept whatever results may come. Acceptance of uncertainty. Emotional resilience is not about eliminating uncertainty, but learning to coexist with it. Accepting that not all outcomes are predictable gives us the freedom to make choices without needing guarantees. Practice embracing the unknown by acknowledging it as part of life's inherent nature. Focusing on values over emotions. Difficult decisions are often easier to make when aligned with personal values rather than fleeting emotions. By focusing on whether a choice aligns with our core beliefs, we gain confidence that, regardless of the outcome, the decision was made with integrity. Building a support network. Emotional resilience is strengthened through connection. A trusted support network provides an outlet for expressing fears and anxieties, which lightens the emotional load. Sharing the decision-making process with those who understand and support us can increase our emotional stamina. Finding meaning in challenges. Emotional resilience grows through facing and overcoming challenges. Instead of avoiding tough choices, view them as meaningful steps in personal growth. By focusing on the growth a difficult choice might offer, we can turn even the most daunting decisions into opportunities for self-improvement. Key takeaways. Emotions as allies. Emotions are powerful guides in decision-making, but require balance and resilience to avoid becoming overwhelming. Awareness and control. Techniques like mindfulness, journaling, and cognitive reappraisal can help cultivate a healthy awareness and control over emotions. Self-compassion and forgiveness. Resilience is strengthened by embracing self-compassion, allowing for a forgiving, growth-oriented approach to past choices. Acceptance and confidence. Emotional resilience is ultimately about living confidently with the choices we make, knowing that we have the strength to handle any outcome. In developing emotional resilience, we foster an internal environment where decisions can be made thoughtfully, grounded in both reason and feeling. By mastering our emotional responses, we strengthen our ability to make confident, purposeful choices, fully aware that while life has no undue key, it offers endless opportunities for growth and renewal. Chapter 6. The Art of Deliberation and Taking Your Time. In a world that often demands quick decisions and rapid responses, the ability to slow down and deliberately consider choices is a powerful skill. Rushed decisions can lead to impulsive choices, regret, and missed opportunities for deeper satisfaction. Deliberation, the art of carefully thinking through our options, is not only about weighing pros and cons, but also about building confidence and aligning with our values and long-term goals. This chapter explores the benefits of taking time to deliberate, the psychological and practical techniques for approaching complex decisions with patience, and strategies for cultivating a mindset that prioritizes thoughtful consideration over impulsive action. By learning to pause, assess, and act thoughtfully, we can make decisions that bring us closer to a fulfilling, purposeful life. The value of slowing down in decision-making. Slowing down doesn't mean inaction or overthinking, rather, it's about giving decisions the time and space they need. In moments of deliberation, we gain clarity and self-awareness, considering the full spectrum of potential outcomes. Here are several key reasons why slowing down is crucial for making confident choices. Reducing impulsivity. When pressured, we're more likely to rely on automatic responses, often based on emotions or habits. Slowing down disrupts impulsivity, allowing us to approach decisions more consciously. Considering consequences. Quick decisions can neglect potential long-term impacts. By taking time to evaluate possible outcomes, we improve our ability to predict consequences and minimize regret. Aligning with values. Decisions made in haste may not reflect our true values or priorities. Taking a pause allows us to reflect on what truly matters, leading to choices that are more in line with our personal beliefs. Minimizing decision fatigue. Decision fatigue occurs when we face too many choices in a short time, leading to poor decisions. Slowing down the pace allows mental recovery and creates the clarity needed for high-quality decisions. Practical techniques for deliberation. For those seeking to cultivate the art of deliberation, there are structured techniques to slow down and make thoughtful decisions. These techniques provide a framework for approaching choices with a clear, focused mindset. The power of the pause. Pausing, even for a few moments, gives your brain a chance to switch from impulsive to deliberate thinking. Practice a simple 3-second pause before responding to any decision. This small delay can make a big difference, particularly in emotionally charged or high-stakes situations. Setting decision deadlines. While deliberation is essential, it's also important to avoid falling into overthinking. Setting realistic deadlines for decisions keeps the process on track. If a decision needs to be made in 1 week, designate specific time slots within that week for dedicated reflection. This prevents the stress of a looming deadline, while still allowing enough time for thoughtful consideration. Pros and cons list with a twist. Listing pros and cons is a classic tool, but it's helpful to take it a step further. Try weighting each pro and con on a scale of 1 to 10 based on its importance to your goals. This gives more insight than a simple tally and helps highlight which factors matter most in the decision. The 10th of October 10 rule. This technique, popularized by author Susie Welsh, involves evaluating the impact of a decision in 3 time frames: 10 minutes from now, 10 months from now, and 10 years from now. This approach helps break down immediate feelings, such as excitement or fear, and focuses on the lasting implications. It encourages a balance between short-term and long-term thinking. Imagine a trusted mentor's perspective. Think of someone whose judgment you trust, a mentor, friend, or even a historical figure, and consider how they might approach your situation. This exercise shifts your perspective, enabling you to see the decision more objectively, while also drawing on the wisdom of others to consider factors you may have missed. Breaking down complex decisions. Complex decisions are often overwhelming because they involve multiple variables, uncertainties, or competing values. Breaking down these choices into smaller, manageable steps allows for a more focused approach. Define the core decision. For multifaceted decisions, it's helpful to define the core question first. Ask, what is the most essential part of this decision? For instance, if considering a career change, the core question might be, will this new role align with my passion and skills? Defining the primary question reduces distraction and focuses energy on what matters most. List and analyze options. Lay out all possible options, even those that initially seem unfavorable. Consider each option's potential impact on your personal goals and values. Remember that sometimes what seems like an obvious choice can hold hidden downsides, while a less attractive option may offer unexpected benefits. Consider the worst case and best case scenarios. Imagine both the worst case and best case scenarios for each choice. This exercise prepares you emotionally and mentally for any outcome, reducing fear and helping build confidence regardless of how things turn out. Consult reliable sources. For decisions that require more information, consulting reliable sources or experts can clarify questions and reveal insights. Whether it's reading, speaking to people with experience, or seeking professional guidance, gathering information helps ground your decision in facts rather than assumptions. Sleep on it. Research shows that sleep supports problem-solving and emotional regulation. Before finalizing a major choice, sleep on it and revisit the decision in the morning. Often, a night's rest reveals a new perspective or confirms a previously unclear direction. Avoiding the pitfalls of indecision. While deliberation is essential, excessive analysis can lead to paralysis by analysis. Overthinking every detail can become counterproductive, delaying decisions and creating anxiety. Here are strategies to avoid getting stuck. Set boundaries for information gathering. The desire to gather just a little more information can lead to endless research. Set a limit on the amount of time or resources you'll invest in gathering information. For instance, commit to reading 3 articles or consulting 2 people, then proceed with the information at hand. Limit the number of options. Too many options can increase stress and make decisions feel impossible. If there are several choices available, limit yourself to the top 3 or 4 most feasible options. By narrowing down, you reduce complexity and can focus more clearly. Adopt a good enough mindset. Aiming for perfection in every decision is unrealistic and stressful. Sometimes, aiming for good enough can relieve pressure and encourage progress. Ask yourself, is this decision good enough to move forward with, rather than, is this decision perfect? Focus on your non-negotiables. Non-negotiables are the aspects of a decision that must be present for it to be acceptable. Identifying these key factors simplifies choices and helps prevent indecision. Embracing patience and trusting the process. Patience is a vital component of deliberation. Trusting that a well-considered decision will ultimately serve your goals is empowering and reduces the urge to rush. Practicing patience in decision-making builds inner trust, increasing your confidence in navigating uncertainty. Value the journey, not just the outcome. Focusing solely on outcomes can lead to frustration if things don't go as planned. Instead, value the process of growth that comes with making thoughtful choices. By appreciating the journey, you reduce the pressure of achieving a specific result. Practice mindfulness in the waiting period. If you're waiting for additional information before making a decision, or if you've committed to a deadline in the future, use that waiting period mindfully. Practice being present rather than dwelling on worries about the decision. This approach builds patience and prevents unnecessary stress. Reflect on past successes. Think of times when patience and deliberation led to a positive outcome. Reflecting on past decisions can reinforce your confidence in the process and remind you of the value of patience. Release the need for immediate validation. We often crave validation, whether from others or through immediate positive outcomes. By releasing the need for quick validation, you free yourself to make decisions without the added pressure of instant approval or results. Key takeaways. Pausing empowers clarity. A brief pause creates space for reflection, which allows you to approach decisions with a clearer mind. Structured deliberation techniques. Techniques such as pros and cons lists, the 10th of October 10 rule, and setting deadlines transform the decision-making process into a manageable task. Breaking down complexity, breaking complex choices into simpler steps, focusing on core questions, and considering both best and worst-case scenarios makes the decision-making process more manageable. Avoiding indecision, setting limits on information gathering and options, and focusing on non-negotiables, can help prevent analysis paralysis. Trusting the power of patience. Patience is a virtue in decision-making, enabling a mindset that values thoughtful choices over quick results and builds confidence over time. In cultivating a mindset of thoughtful deliberation, we equip ourselves to make choices that resonate with our long-term vision and bring peace and satisfaction. Deliberation is not only an art, but a skill that, with practice, becomes second nature. This chapter underscores that, with the power to pause and consider, we hold the reins of our choices firmly, making each one a step forward in the journey of intentional living. Chapter 7. Building a framework for intentional living. Living an intentional life requires more than isolated moments of decisiveness. It demands a conscious commitment to align daily actions with personal values and long-term goals. This chapter explores the concept of intentional living and offers a step-by-step guide to developing a personal framework for making decisions that honor one's vision for life. By understanding the core values that drive you, setting meaningful goals, and consistently reflecting on your journey, you can create a life that feels authentically yours, a life that is the product of purposeful choice, rather than happenstance. The foundation of intentional living, understanding your why. To build a framework for intentional living, you must start with a deep exploration of your why, the underlying motivations that drive you to pursue certain goals, beliefs, and behaviors. This foundational layer of purpose acts as a guiding compass, helping you navigate decisions that may otherwise seem overwhelming or uncertain. Identifying core values. Core values are the principles that shape your understanding of what is meaningful and fulfilling. They might include values like honesty, creativity, family, freedom, compassion, or growth. When choices align with your values, they tend to feel right, leading to greater satisfaction and inner peace. Conversely, when choices conflict with these values, discontent and doubt often follow. To identify your core values, consider what qualities you admire in others, what situations make you feel fulfilled, and what principles you refuse to compromise on. Determining your purpose. Purpose is the broader mission or vision that fuels your daily actions and gives your life meaning. For some, purpose is tied to a career path or a particular cause, while for others, it may be a dedication to personal growth, family, or contributing to the community. Purpose can evolve over time, but finding a sense of it, even if it's broad or abstract, can help you make choices that build towards a meaningful life. Exercises for clarity. To clarify your values and purpose, try exercises like journaling, meditation, or visioning exercises. Consider questions such as, what kind of impact do I want to have? What experiences make me feel alive? And what legacy would I like to leave? These questions can help refine your purpose and lead to greater self-awareness, a critical foundation for intentional living. Setting clear, guiding goals. Once you've defined your core values and purpose, the next step is to translate these into concrete goals that align with them. Goals provide direction and help prioritize actions that are aligned with the life you want to create. Distinguishing between short-term and long-term goals. Both short-term and long-term goals are essential for an intentional life. Short-term goals, daily, weekly, monthly. Keep you focused on immediate steps that contribute to progress, while long-term goals, yearly or even decade-long, help you visualize the bigger picture. For example, if one of your core values is growth, a short-term goal might involve reading a new book every month, while a long-term goal might be earning a degree, developing a new skill, or changing careers. Smart goal setting. Using the SMART framework, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound, can help make your goals more effective. When goals are vague or unrealistic, they can feel discouraging or fail to lead to the desired change. For instance, instead of setting a vague goal like, I want to be healthier, a smart version might be, I will exercise for 30 minutes, 3 times a week for the next 3 months. This specific, measurable goal gives you something concrete to work towards and holds you accountable. Prioritizing goals based on core values. Not all goals will have the same importance or urgency. Regularly review your goals to ensure they are aligned with your values and purpose. For example, if you value balance, you may decide to focus less on professional achievement and more on cultivating personal well-being. Continually refining and realigning your goals in this way keeps them meaningful and impactful. Aligning daily actions with your long-term vision. Intentional living is about more than setting goals. It's about weaving your values and purpose into your daily choices, ensuring each action contributes to your larger vision for life. This requires consistency and the willingness to make sometimes small, but deliberate decisions every day. Creating habits that reflect your values. Daily habits are powerful tools in building a purposeful life. When habits align with your values, they serve as a consistent reinforcement of your goals and vision. If one of your values is compassion, for example, you might commit to small acts of kindness daily, like checking in on friends or volunteering monthly. If creativity is a core value, perhaps you'll set aside 30 minutes each day to write, paint, or engage in another creative outlet. Reflective practices. To keep your actions aligned with your intentions, build a reflective practice into your routine. This can be as simple as a weekly journaling session, where you assess how well you honored your values, where you could improve, and any adjustments needed. Questions like, what actions did I take this week that aligned with my goals? Or what held me back from living out my values today? Can help you stay accountable and aware of your progress. Creating boundaries to protect your vision. Boundaries are essential for staying true to your intentions, especially in a world full of distractions and external demands. Protect your time and energy by learning to say no to activities, commitments, or people that conflict with your values or drain your resources. For instance, if balance is a priority, set boundaries around work hours to preserve time for family and self-care. Boundaries may feel challenging at first, but are vital for maintaining focus on what truly matters. Evaluating and adapting your framework over time. Intentional living is not a static process. It evolves as you grow, encounter new experiences, and gain new insights. Building time for periodic evaluation and adaptation is essential for a meaningful, flexible approach. Regular goal-setting check-ins. At least once a year, take time to evaluate your goals and whether they still align with your evolving values and purpose. Are there goals that no longer serve you? Are new goals emerging as priorities? Use these check-ins to celebrate progress, assess areas for improvement, and make adjustments that keep your framework relevant. Embracing change as part of growth. Intentional living does not mean rigidly adhering to a set path, if it no longer serves you. Life circumstances change, and so do we. Give yourself the freedom to adapt and reimagine your framework when necessary, understanding that change can lead to even deeper alignment with your true self. For example, someone who once prioritized career advancement may, over time, come to value family life more deeply, leading them to shift focus towards more family-oriented goals. Reflecting on milestones and lessons learned. Intentional living often yields powerful learning experiences and personal growth. When you reach significant milestones, take time to reflect on the journey, both the successes and the challenges. Each milestone offers insights that can refine your approach, strengthen your commitment, and clarify your values even further. Living with purpose, the rewards of an intentional life. Building a framework for intentional living brings a multitude of benefits. People who live intentionally often report higher levels of satisfaction, as their actions reflect their deepest values. They experience less regret, more clarity, and a greater sense of agency in life. By choosing intentional living, you transform each day into an opportunity to align with what matters most. Increased confidence and self-trust. When you consistently make choices aligned with your purpose and values, you strengthen your self-trust. Confidence naturally follows as you begin to see yourself as someone capable of living with integrity, intentionality, and resilience. Deeper fulfillment and satisfaction. Intentional living aligns you with your true desires, reducing the likelihood of regret and dissatisfaction. Each decision reinforces your commitment to a purposeful life, bringing with it a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment. Stronger relationships. When you live intentionally, you are better able to show up authentically in your relationships, establishing deeper, more meaningful connections with others who support and align with your values. Key takeaways. Identify core values and purpose. Clarify the principles and larger mission that guide your life to build a foundation for intentional living. Set clear, meaningful goals. Create SMART goals that align with your values and prioritize them based on long-term significance. Align daily actions with long-term vision, build habits, practice reflection, and establish boundaries that reinforce your framework. Adapt as you grow. Periodically evaluate and adjust your framework to ensure it remains relevant to your evolving self. Enjoy the rewards of living with purpose. Experience the confidence, fulfillment, and peace that comes from a life intentionally lived. Intentional living is an ongoing journey of commitment to authenticity, clarity, and purpose. Each step, whether significant or small, moves you closer to a life you consciously and confidently choose, a life without regret. Chapter 8. Balancing Logic and Intuition. In the journey of decision-making, there are two key forces that shape our choices, logic and intuition. On the one hand, we have rational thought, our ability to analyze, calculate, and weigh the pros and cons of a situation. On the other, we have intuition, those gut feelings, flashes of insight, and instincts that guide us in ways that aren't always easily explained by reason. Both logic and intuition are powerful, but they are often seen as being in opposition. Some people tend to rely more heavily on one than the other, while others struggle to find the balance between the two. In this chapter, we will explore the interplay between logic and intuition, the benefits of integrating both in decision-making, and how to cultivate a balanced approach that works for you. Understanding the role of logic in decision-making. Logic, at its core, is the process of reasoning based on facts, data, and objective analysis. It involves using structured thinking, evidence, and clear, sequential steps to come to a conclusion. Logical decision-making is especially useful in situations where there are clear options to compare, risks that can be quantified, or when a methodical approach is required. The strength of logic. Logic is grounded in evidence and reality, which helps eliminate unnecessary biases and emotional reactions that could cloud judgment. It allows us to break down a complex decision into manageable components, evaluate possible outcomes systematically, and choose the option that appears most rational or optimal. For example, when deciding whether to accept a job offer, a logical decision-making process might involve weighing salary, benefits, career advancement opportunities, work-life balance, and location. By focusing on these objective factors, a person can avoid getting swayed by emotion and make a well-informed decision. Risk management through logic. Logic is particularly helpful when making high-stakes decisions, where the consequences of an error could be significant. Logical decision-making helps us assess risks, probabilities, and uncertainties. It allows us to think ahead, prepare for contingencies, and analyze how each option will impact our future. This is why many business decisions, legal matters, and financial investments rely heavily on logic. A data-driven approach in these contexts ensures that decisions are based on rational analysis rather than mere impulse. When logic falls short, while logic is immensely powerful, it does have limitations. It may be useful when there is a clear problem to solve, but it doesn't always account for the nuances of human emotions, social dynamics, or the subtleties of personal values. Logic also works best when there is sufficient information available, but in situations of ambiguity or uncertainty, it can lead to paralysis by analysis, where too much focus on details prevents decisive action. There is also a tendency for overly logical thinkers to neglect their emotions, which could be key to understanding deeper desires or needs that might not be immediately obvious from a purely analytical perspective. Understanding the role of intuition in decision-making. Intuition, on the other hand, is often described as the gut feeling that comes from an unconscious processing of experience, knowledge, and feelings. Unlike logical thinking, which is conscious and deliberate, intuition operates below the surface of awareness and doesn't always follow a linear process. It can emerge as a feeling, a hunch, or even a vivid insight that seems to appear from nowhere. The strength of intuition can be especially valuable in situations where there is little time for analysis or when the decision is emotionally charged. For instance, in personal relationships, trusting your instincts might help you navigate complex social cues and understand what someone is truly feeling, even when they aren't expressing it directly. In these cases, intuition often draws upon past experiences, emotional intelligence, and subconscious knowledge that you may not even be fully aware of. Quick, contextual decisions. Intuitive decision-making is particularly beneficial in high-pressure situations where decisions need to be made quickly. A doctor in an emergency room may not have time to perform a full analysis on every case, but might rely on their years of experience and gut feeling to prioritize patients in critical condition. Similarly, athletes often make split-second decisions in the heat of a game based on intuition, honed by years of practice and experience. The wisdom of the subconscious. Intuition draws from the unconscious mind, which holds a vast store of knowledge, memories, and patterns. This is why some people may experience flashes of insight that seem to come out of nowhere. Often, our subconscious mind has been processing information that we have overlooked or failed to articulate consciously. This is why creative solutions often come in moments of quiet reflection, or when we're not trying to force an answer. Intuition helps us access this inner wisdom and make decisions that align with deeper truths or insights. When intuition falls short, intuition, though invaluable, can be misleading when it is influenced by biases, past emotional wounds, or overly simplistic patterns. Our gut feelings are shaped by our past experiences, and sometimes those experiences can skew our perception. For instance, someone who has been burned by a previous relationship might have an intuitive sense that someone new is untrustworthy, even though the person has given no indication of being dishonest. Intuition can sometimes mislead us if it is based on faulty or limited data, especially in unfamiliar or high-stakes situations. The interplay between logic and intuition. Both logic and intuition have strengths and weaknesses, and each plays a crucial role in the decision-making process. The key is learning how to balance them, knowing when to trust your gut and when to lean on your rational mind. Integrating both logical thinking and intuitive insight can lead to more holistic, informed, and confident decisions. Complementary forces. Logic and intuition are not inherently opposites. They can complement one another beautifully. For instance, after gathering all the facts and analyzing the options logically, you might pause and allow your intuition to weigh in. Perhaps you feel uneasy about a particular choice, even though the logic seems sound. By listening to that feeling and considering it, you may uncover a deeper concern, or a nuance you hadn't previously noticed. Alternatively, intuition can give you a starting point, or initial direction, and logic can then help you fine-tune that direction, or ensure that it is grounded in reality. An integrated decision-making process. When you are making decisions, consider a two-step process. First, use logic to gather facts, analyze the situation, and weigh the pros and cons. Then, take a step back and tune into your intuition. Ask yourself how each option makes you feel on a deeper, gut level. What does your inner voice or instinct tell you about the situation? By integrating these two approaches, you allow yourself to make choices that are not only well-reasoned, but also aligned with your emotional truths and deeper needs. Cultivating a balanced approach to decision-making. The ability to balance logic and intuition is a skill that can be developed with practice. Here are some strategies to help you cultivate a more integrated approach to decision-making. Develop self-awareness. Understanding your natural tendencies, whether you are more logical or intuitive, can help you recognize when you need to shift gears. If you tend to overthink or become paralyzed by analysis, practice trusting your intuition more. If you tend to act impulsively on gut feelings, take a moment to pause and gather more data before making a decision. Practice mindfulness. Mindfulness helps you quiet your mind and tune into your body's signals, which can enhance both intuitive insight and clear reasoning. By becoming more aware of your emotions, physical sensations, and mental state, you can discern when a decision is coming from a place of fear or anxiety, versus when it is a true intuitive response. Consult your values. Both logic and intuition should be guided by your personal values. When in doubt, check in with your core values to see which decision aligns most closely with what matters most to you. Values can act as a stabilizing force when you are torn between a logical path and an intuitive feeling. Allow space for both. Don't rush your decisions. Give yourself permission to take time to reflect and allow both logic and intuition to inform your choices. This process may involve stepping away from the situation for a brief moment, taking a walk, or practicing breathing exercises to help clear your mind and center yourself. Experiment and reflect. Like any skill, balancing logic and intuition takes practice. Try making decisions that require both types of thinking, and then reflect on the outcomes. What worked well? What could have been better? Over time, you will develop a more intuitive sense of when to rely on each, or when to integrate both. Key takeaways. Logic is a powerful tool for analyzing, evaluating, and managing risk. It works best in situations where clear, structured thinking is needed, and when you have enough information to make an informed choice. Intuition taps into your subconscious mind and experiences, offering insights that logic cannot always access. It is valuable for quick decisions, complex emotional contexts, and situations where you lack full information. Balancing logic and intuition is essential for holistic decision-making. By integrating both, you can make decisions that are both grounded in reality and aligned with your deeper truths. Developing a balanced approach to decision-making requires practice, mindfulness, self-awareness, and reflection. By experimenting with both approaches, you can learn to trust yourself and make confident, purposeful choices. In the end, the best decisions come from a harmony between the rational mind and the intuitive heart, each guiding and supporting the other. By learning to balance logic and intuition, you can approach decisions with clarity, confidence, and a deep trust in your own judgment. Chapter 9. Learning from mistakes without regret. Mistakes are inevitable. No matter how careful, thoughtful, or informed we try to be in our decision-making, we all make choices that don't turn out as we expected, or even as we hoped. The human experience is riddled with missteps, errors, and failures, and for many, these moments become points of deep regret. Yet, the ability to learn from our mistakes, rather than allowing them to define us, is a critical skill for living a confident, purposeful life. This chapter delves into how we can reframe mistakes, not as signs of failure, but as valuable stepping stones toward growth and self-improvement. By shifting our perspective on mistakes, we open ourselves up to new opportunities and a more resilient mindset. The challenge, then, is not in avoiding mistakes, but in developing the emotional intelligence to navigate them with grace and wisdom. In this chapter, we will explore strategies for transforming mistakes into lessons and avoiding the trap of regret that can paralyze our decision-making in the future. The nature of mistakes. Mistakes are an intrinsic part of life. They are as inevitable as they are unavoidable. Whether we act impulsively, fail to gather enough information, misjudge a situation, or simply get swept up by emotions, our choices don't always unfold as we imagine. However, it's important to recognize that mistakes are not inherently negative. In fact, mistakes are essential for growth. Without them, we would never learn the consequences of our actions or develop the wisdom to make better choices in the future. At the heart of human growth is the process of trial and error. As children, we fall as we learn to walk. We fail before we succeed in speaking, writing, and even in building relationships. Mistakes become part of the natural course of learning. In the context of adulthood and decision-making, mistakes also serve as crucial feedback. They point us toward areas of weakness, highlight assumptions we've made that might not hold true, and help us refine our approach to problem-solving. Why we feel regret. Despite our best efforts, many of us experience deep regret when we make mistakes. Regret is often tied to feelings of guilt, self-blame, or disappointment. We might focus on what we should have done differently, replaying the event in our minds, and wishing we could go back and change things. The what-ifs swirl endlessly, preventing us from moving forward. However, regret can be a harmful emotion if allowed to dominate our thoughts. It often keeps us stuck in the past, obstructing our ability to take confident action in the present. The problem with regret is that it distorts the past, removing us from the reality of what actually happened. The human mind is prone to counterfactual thinking, a phenomenon where we imagine what could have been if we had made different choices. This is natural, but it can also be counterproductive. We fixate on what we can't change, which drains our energy and keeps us from focusing on what we can do now, learn and adapt. The key to overcoming regret is reframing mistakes as opportunities for growth, rather than as permanent markers of failure. By changing the way we view mistakes, we can shift from a mindset of regret to one of learning. Reframing mistakes as learning opportunities. Rather than asking yourself, "What did I do wrong?" after a mistake, shift the question to, "What can I learn from this?" This simple change in perspective opens the door to personal growth and improvement. Instead of getting stuck in guilt or self-criticism, focus on what the mistake can teach you. What knowledge or insight can be gained from the experience? Here are several ways to reframe your mistakes and use them as valuable learning opportunities. Identify the lesson. Every mistake carries a lesson. The key is to identify it. Ask yourself what could have been done differently, but in a constructive, non-judgmental way. For example, if a decision at work led to negative consequences, did you overlook any important data? Did you rush into the decision without considering other options? What might you have done if you had taken a little more time to reflect or consulted others? Each insight helps you improve future decision-making. Separate your actions from your identity. It's easy to internalize mistakes and define ourselves by our failures, but this is a trap. A mistake is something we do, not something we are. Remind yourself that making mistakes is human and does not make you inadequate or incapable. The more you can separate your self-worth from your actions, the easier it will be to accept mistakes without letting them affect your confidence. Adjust your expectations. Often, we make mistakes because we have unrealistic expectations of ourselves or others. If we expect perfection, we're more likely to feel disappointed when things don't go as planned. Adjusting your expectations means acknowledging that mistakes are an inevitable part of life, and that they don't signify a lack of competence. Acknowledge that life isn't about being perfect, it's about growth, learning, and making progress. Embrace the process. Mistakes are part of the process of becoming better. If you view them as part of your development, you'll be able to approach them with a sense of curiosity rather than shame. When you embrace mistakes as opportunities for growth, you not only learn from them, but also gain the resilience to handle future challenges more effectively. Practical steps to move beyond regret. While reframing mistakes is crucial, it's also important to know how to practically move beyond regret and take action. Here are some actionable steps to avoid being consumed by regret and to move forward with confidence. Practice self-compassion. Be kind to yourself when you make a mistake. Self-compassion allows you to forgive yourself, learn from the experience, and take corrective action without harsh self-judgment. It's easier to learn from a mistake when you treat yourself with empathy rather than criticism. Commit to reflection, not rumination. Reflection is the act of looking back at a mistake and learning from it. Rumination, on the other hand, is obsessing over the mistake in a way that is unproductive and damaging. Spend time reflecting on what went wrong, but make sure to set a limit on how long you dwell on the past. After reflecting, let it go and shift your focus to what you can do next. Use mistakes to strengthen your decision-making framework. With each mistake, take note of how you can refine your approach moving forward. For example, you might create a checklist or framework that helps you avoid the same misstep in the future. By embedding your lessons into your decision-making process, you make it easier to avoid repeating past errors. Be open to feedback. Sometimes our mistakes are caused by blind spots, and we need an outside perspective to see them. Seek feedback from trusted friends, mentors, or colleagues to gain a more complete picture of the situation. Constructive feedback can help you refine your approach and prevent future mistakes. Develop emotional resilience. Mistakes can hurt emotionally, but building emotional resilience means learning to bounce back from setbacks. Emotional resilience is the ability to manage difficult emotions, recover quickly, and continue moving forward despite challenges. Practicing mindfulness, self-care, and seeking social support can help you build resilience and avoid letting mistakes derail your progress. Using mistakes as a force for progress. Ultimately, mistakes should not be seen as setbacks, but as catalysts for progress. They allow you to re-examine your values, your goals, and your approach to life. Each mistake is an opportunity to refine your decision-making and grow stronger. Instead of running from mistakes, lean into them. Reflect on what they teach you, apply those lessons, and use them to propel yourself forward. As you learn to embrace mistakes as part of the journey, you'll realize that they are just as important as your successes. Both shape who you are and guide you toward the future. Instead of being defined by your past mistakes, you are empowered by them, strengthened by the lessons they offer. Mistakes do not define you, how you respond to them does. You can choose to let regret hold you back, or use each misstep as an opportunity for growth. By adopting a mindset that views mistakes as part of the learning process, you will develop a resilience that not only allows you to make better decisions in the future, but also enables you to approach life with confidence, knowing that even when you fall short, there is always something to gain. Key takeaways. Mistakes are a natural part of life, and should be seen as opportunities for learning and growth. Regret is often the result of unhealthy self-criticism and counterfactual thinking, which can trap us in the past. Reframing mistakes allows us to approach them with curiosity and openness, enabling us to learn and improve. Practical strategies such as self-compassion, reflection, and seeking feedback can help us move beyond regret and into action. Mistakes, when embraced, can become powerful forces for personal development, resilience, and confidence. By learning how to make mistakes without regret, we not only release ourselves from the weight of the past, but also create space for a more confident, purposeful future. Chapter 10. Embracing commitment. living with your choices. Every decision we make brings us closer to a particular path, yet the journey doesn't end with the choice itself. After making a decision, we are tasked with embracing the commitment that comes with it. It's easy to become overwhelmed by the sheer finality of some choices. We may find ourselves second-guessing, wondering if we could have chosen differently, or facing the pressure of living up to the decision we've made. Yet, true confidence comes from not only making thoughtful decisions, but also embracing them fully and living with them without regret. In this chapter, we explore the art of commitment and how to confidently live with the choices you make. We will look at how to avoid the traps of a what-if thinking, focus on the present, and adjust to the outcomes of your decisions. Embracing your choices doesn't mean blind acceptance of every outcome, but rather the ability to make peace with the process and move forward with confidence and purpose. The power of commitment. Commitment is an integral part of decision-making. When we commit to something, we align ourselves with our choices, accepting the responsibility and consequences that come with them. Commitment means showing up for our decisions, regardless of the challenges or uncertainties that may arise along the way. It is the difference between merely choosing something and taking ownership of the path we've chosen. Living without commitment is like setting sail on a boat without knowing where you're going, or without fully trusting the direction you're headed. The winds may change, the waters may get choppy, but without commitment, you drift aimlessly. Commitment, on the other hand, provides the clarity and strength to navigate whatever storms come your way. It is the assurance that, regardless of the outcome, you are steadfast in your choice and willing to see it through. The problem with second-guessing. One of the biggest obstacles to living confidently with our choices is the temptation to second-guess. After making a decision, it is easy to enter a spiral of doubt, questioning whether we made the right choice. This is especially true when things don't go as planned, or when we encounter obstacles that challenge our decision. Second-guessing can be paralyzing. It robs us of peace and prevents us from fully engaging in our present reality. Instead of focusing on what we can do now, we're trapped in the past, wondering, what if I had done this differently? Or what if I had chosen another path? This cycle of doubt keeps us from moving forward and prevents us from truly living with our choices. The antidote to second-guessing is commitment. When you commit to your choices, you stop questioning every little detail. Instead, you focus on what you can do next, how you can adapt, and how you can learn from the experience. Committing to a choice means accepting the possibility of mistakes and failures along the way, but also trusting that each step, no matter how imperfect, is part of the journey. Techniques to avoid what-if thinking. The what-if thinking trap is an emotional dead end. While it's natural to wonder about alternative outcomes, it is ultimately unproductive and energy-draining. What if you had taken a different job? What if you had made a different financial decision? What if you had stayed in a relationship, or walked away sooner? These questions are endless and often lead us to miss the value of the present moment. Here are several strategies to help you avoid the what-if thinking trap and focus on the present. Focus on the facts, not the fantasies. When you start questioning your decisions, remind yourself that you can't know how things would have turned out with an alternative choice. The what-ifs are based on hypothetical scenarios that don't exist. Instead of dwelling on them, focus on the facts of your decision. What led you to make this choice? What were your values at the time? How did this choice align with your long-term goals? Reaffirm your commitment. The more you reaffirm your commitment to your decision, the more you will stop second-guessing. Remind yourself why you made the choice in the first place and why it was the right one at the time. It's important to revisit your original motivations, particularly when things don't go as expected. This can help you reconnect with your purpose and eliminate the temptation to look back with regret. Take action, not more thoughts. What-if thinking often occurs when we're stuck in indecision or fear of making a mistake. The best antidote to this is to take action. Every action you take, no matter how small, is a reaffirmation that you are committed to your choice and your path. Instead of ruminating on alternative outcomes, take proactive steps in the direction you've chosen. This keeps you focused on moving forward, not getting bogged down in the past. Limit time spent on reflection. While reflection can be valuable, excessive rumination on what ifs can be paralyzing. Set a time limit for how long you will allow yourself to reflect on a past decision. Once the time is up, commit to letting go of those thoughts and returning to the present moment. Living in the present and embracing the process. Once we've committed to a decision, the next challenge is learning to live fully in the present. This is where true peace comes from, not from perfect outcomes or the ability to rewrite the past, but from being fully engaged in the here and now. Shift from outcome to process. Often, we place so much emphasis on the outcome of our decisions that we forget to enjoy the process of living with them. Success, happiness, and fulfillment are not solely determined by how things turn out. They are shaped by the daily choices and actions we take. When you focus on the process, the daily effort, the small wins, the growth, you are able to find peace and meaning regardless of the outcome. Cultivate gratitude. Gratitude is a powerful antidote to regret. When we commit to our choices, we have an opportunity to cultivate gratitude for the present moment. Whether things are going well or not so well, find reasons to be grateful for the journey. This mindset shift allows you to see challenges as opportunities for growth, rather than as obstacles or mistakes. Trust in your ability to adapt. Even though we cannot change the past, we always have the power to adapt and respond to the present. Trust that you can handle whatever comes your way as a result of your decisions. By embracing your choice and learning how to adjust to new circumstances, you reinforce your ability to navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and confidence. Live with integrity. When you commit to a decision, live with integrity. This means aligning your actions with your values and sticking to your commitments even when it gets tough. Integrity is the internal compass that helps you stay on course, even when external circumstances seem to pull you in different directions. Living with integrity means honoring your word, both to yourself and others, and acting with consistency and authenticity. Adapting to the outcomes of your choices. Sometimes, the outcomes of our decisions don't align with our expectations. We may face setbacks, challenges, or outright failures. This is a natural part of life, but how we adapt to these outcomes determines our growth and success in the long run. Reframe setbacks as opportunities. Every setback is an opportunity for learning. Instead of viewing challenges as failures, reframe them as valuable feedback. Each misstep is a clue about what to do differently next time. Learn from your mistakes and adjust your course as needed. The ability to adapt is what separates those who succeed from those who stagnate. Adjust your expectations. Life is full of surprises, and things don't always go according to plan. Adjusting your expectations doesn't mean abandoning your goals. It means being flexible and realistic about the time, effort, and resources required to reach them. Sometimes, the path to success is not a straight line, it's a winding road full of unexpected turns. Find peace in imperfection. Perfection is an illusion. No decision, no matter how well thought out, will ever lead to a perfect outcome. Learn to find peace in the imperfection of life. It's in the messy, unpredictable nature of our decisions that we find true growth and meaning. Celebrate the journey. While outcomes are important, the true value lies in the journey itself. Celebrate the progress you've made, regardless of the end result. When you fully embrace the commitment to your choices, you can appreciate the growth and transformation that occurs along the way. Conclusion: living fully with your choices. To live confidently and purposefully, we must embrace our choices and the commitments they entail. Embracing your decisions means living in the present moment, letting go of second-guessing, and adapting to whatever outcomes arise. It means finding peace in imperfection and taking ownership of your path. With commitment comes strength and clarity, and with that, the ability to live a life full of purpose, courage, and integrity. When we commit to our choices, we also commit to ourselves, our values, our growth, and our journey. This is the foundation of a confident life. The more you embrace your decisions with this mindset, the more empowered you will feel, no matter where your choices lead you. Chapter 11. Practical Tools for Daily Decision-Making. Every day, we are faced with countless decisions, some significant, others seemingly trivial. Yet, these choices accumulate, shaping our lives and futures in ways both profound and subtle. In this chapter, we will explore a variety of practical tools and frameworks that can help simplify decision-making, reduce stress, and make the process more efficient. The goal is to equip you with actionable strategies that not only save time, but also increase your confidence in the decisions you make daily. The complexity of daily decisions. On any given day, the decisions we face might range from mundane, what to eat for breakfast, to more consequential, whether to accept a job offer. Even though these choices can feel overwhelming at times, the truth is, much of our decision-making process happens automatically or subconsciously. The question is, how can we streamline this process to make sure our daily choices align with our values, goals, and long-term aspirations? The key to reducing decision fatigue and making better choices lies in adopting frameworks that allow us to break down complex decisions into manageable, structured steps. 1. The power of frameworks in decision-making. A decision-making framework is essentially a system that helps guide you through the decision process. By applying a consistent structure to your decisions, you reduce the emotional and mental burden, making each choice feel more manageable. Here are some of the most effective frameworks for everyday decision-making. A. The pros and cons list. One of the simplest, yet most effective, tools for decision-making is the classic pros and cons list. This tool is especially helpful when you feel torn between two or more options. It helps you visualize the potential benefits and drawbacks of each choice in a clear, logical way. How to use it. Identify the decision. Clearly define the decision you need to make. List the options. Write down the available options or outcomes for the decision. Pros. For each option, list the potential advantages, things you stand to gain, the positive impact it could have, and the reasons why it could be beneficial. Cons. List the disadvantages, things you might lose, any negative outcomes, or reasons why it could be detrimental. Evaluate. Compare the pros and cons of each option. Which side weighs heavier? This should give you an idea of the better course of action. While this method seems basic, it works by clarifying what's at stake in the decision and allowing you to evaluate it objectively. It's especially helpful in situations where emotions or external pressures might cloud your judgment. B. The cost-benefit analysis. A more advanced version of the pros and cons list is the cost-benefit analysis, where you evaluate the value of your choices based on both tangible and intangible factors. How to use it. List your choices. Just like in the pros and cons list, start by listing all the potential decisions you can make. Identify costs and benefits. Costs might include time, energy, money, resources, or even emotional toll. Benefits are the rewards, gains, or advantages that will come from making a particular decision. Assign values. For each choice, assign a numeric or qualitative value to the costs and benefits. This helps clarify whether the benefits outweigh the costs. Make the decision. Choose the option that offers the highest benefit-to-cost ratio. This framework is particularly useful when dealing with high-stakes decisions, e.g., financial or career-related decisions, and when you need to weigh several complex factors at once. C. The 10th of October 10 Rule. For decisions that seem overwhelming or uncertain, the 10th of October 10 rule can offer clarity by helping you focus on the long-term consequences. This framework is especially helpful when you are unsure about the lasting impact of a decision. How to use it? Ask 3 questions. How will I feel about this decision in 10 minutes? This question helps you consider the immediate emotional impact of your choice. How will I feel about it in 10 months? This encourages you to think about the medium-term effects, giving you a sense of whether the decision will still matter in the near future. How will I feel about it in 10 years? This brings perspective, forcing you to evaluate the long-term consequences and whether the decision will still matter in the grand scheme of your life. Evaluate. Use your answers to gauge whether the decision aligns with your long-term goals and values. This method reduces impulsivity and helps you make decisions that have lasting positive effects on your life. D. The 2-minute rule. Sometimes, the sheer volume of decisions in our daily life can lead to a phenomenon known as decision fatigue, where the ability to make decisions diminishes after making too many. To counter this, the 2-minute rule can be a lifesaver. This rule works by encouraging you to take immediate action on tasks or decisions that are small or low stakes. How to use it? If a decision or task can be done in less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. Don't overthink it. If it's a minor decision, e.g., responding to an email or choosing what to wear, act quickly to prevent unnecessary delays or clutter in your mind. If the task requires more than 2 minutes, then break it down into smaller steps or schedule a specific time to address it. This method helps you keep the small decisions from piling up and overwhelming you, allowing your cognitive energy to be saved for bigger choices. 2. Routines and habits, reducing decision fatigue. In addition to frameworks, establishing routines and habits can be a powerful way to reduce the mental load of decision-making. The fewer decisions you have to make in a given day, the more energy and clarity you'll have for important choices. A. Morning routines. Starting your day with a consistent morning routine helps minimize the number of decisions you need to make right away. Whether it's choosing what to eat, what to wear, or when to work out, having a set routine removes the need to deliberate over these low-stakes choices. Example of a simple morning routine. Wake up at 6 a.m. Drink a glass of water. Exercise for 20 minutes. Eat a healthy breakfast, prepare the night before. Plan the day, using a to-do list or planner. This eliminates the need to make decisions about your morning activities and sets a productive tone for the rest of the day. B. Meal planning. For many, deciding what to eat is one of the most frequent, and often stressful, decisions of the day. Meal planning can alleviate this stress by giving you a predetermined menu for the week. With a plan in place, you eliminate the need to decide what to cook every day. How to meal plan. Choose a day to plan the week's meals, e.g., Sunday. Create a simple meal schedule with breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Prepare meals in advance, e.g., batch cook, pre-chop veggies, or pre-portion snacks. Stick to the plan to save time and reduce decision fatigue throughout the week. By taking the guesswork out of eating, you can save time and energy for more important choices during the day. C. Automating decisions. Automation is a powerful tool for reducing daily decision-making. Whether it's setting up recurring payments for bills or organizing a set wardrobe for the week, automating these regular tasks frees up mental energy for other decisions. Examples of automation. Automate bill payments and subscriptions. Create a set weekly outfit rotation to reduce wardrobe choices. Use grocery delivery services to save time on shopping. These strategies make it easier to focus on decisions that align with your long-term goals, as the routine tasks become less mentally taxing. 3. Developing a decision-making mindset. Along with frameworks and routines, it's important to develop a mindset that embraces intentional decision-making. This means understanding that every choice, big or small, is an opportunity to align your actions with your values and purpose. Key practices to build a strong decision-making mindset. Commit to your choices. Once you've made a decision, commit to it fully and avoid second-guessing. Trust that you've made the best choice with the information available to you at the time. Embrace imperfection. Recognize that no decision is perfect. Each choice has its own set of trade-offs, and you won't always have the luxury of knowing the outcome. Learn to embrace uncertainty. Reflect and learn. After a decision, take time to reflect on the process. Did it serve your values? What would you do differently next time? This reflection helps you refine your decision-making process over time. 4. Overcoming common decision-making pitfalls. As you apply these tools and strategies, be aware of common decision-making traps. Overthinking. Struggling to make a choice because you fear making the wrong one can lead to paralysis. Use your frameworks to stay focused and simplify the process. Perfectionism. Expecting a perfect outcome from every decision will only create frustration. Allow room for mistakes and imperfections. Procrastination. Delaying decisions out of fear of making the wrong choice only adds stress. Use tools like the 2-minute rule to handle small decisions quickly and tackle bigger ones with a clear framework. Conclusion. By implementing the right frameworks, routines, and mindset, you can simplify the decision-making process and improve your ability to make thoughtful, confident choices every day. These tools don't eliminate the need for hard decisions, but they do provide clarity and structure, reducing mental fatigue and helping you navigate life's complexities with greater ease. Chapter 12. Navigating life's major decisions. Life is a series of crossroads, some small and daily, others large and transformative. While the smaller decisions are often manageable, the bigger choices, the ones that alter the course of our lives, are more challenging and fraught with uncertainty. Major decisions such as career changes, relationships, relocations, or even starting a family can feel like defining moments, as if a single choice could determine the trajectory of our entire future. These decisions often carry immense pressure, and navigating them requires clarity, courage, and a framework for evaluating all the potential outcomes. In this chapter, we will explore how to approach life's high-stakes decisions with confidence. We'll break down the steps to take, the fears to confront, and the strategies that will help you make the best choice, even when faced with uncertainty. By the end of this chapter, you will have a structured approach to handle major decisions, ensuring that you make choices that align with your deepest values, goals, and aspirations. The weight of major decisions. Major life decisions often come with the illusion that they are more significant than they really are. While they certainly can shape our future, we need to remember that decisions are not isolated events. They are part of an ongoing process of growth and change. It's easy to get overwhelmed by the idea that one decision could define everything, but this mindset can be paralyzing. What's more important than the decision itself is how we approach it, how we learn from it, and how we adapt as life unfolds after we've made it. It's also important to recognize that fear and uncertainty often come hand in hand with major decisions. Whether it's the fear of failure, the fear of making the wrong choice, or the fear of the unknown, these emotions can cloud our judgment. Yet, embracing these fears rather than avoiding them can be key to making sound decisions. Learning to manage fear and uncertainty allows us to think more clearly and make more grounded, purposeful choices. The framework for major decisions. When it comes to major decisions, the process should be thoughtful and intentional. Here is a framework for navigating high-stakes choices, broken down into manageable steps. While these steps might seem straightforward, they are essential for ensuring that your decision-making process is thorough, well-informed, and aligned with your core values. 1. Clarify the decision. Before you can make a major decision, you need to clarify exactly what it is you are deciding. Sometimes, it's easy to become overwhelmed by the complexity of the situation and lose sight of the core decision. Ask yourself, what am I truly deciding here? This will help break the situation down into its essential components. For example, if you're considering a career change, the decision isn't just about switching jobs. It's about what kind of work will fulfill you, what lifestyle you want, and whether or not it aligns with your long-term goals. Take time to write down your thoughts, concerns, and questions about the decision, so you have a clear picture of what is at stake. 2. Identify your core values and goals. The next step is to align the decision with your core values and long-term goals. In times of uncertainty, it can be easy to focus on immediate rewards or temporary satisfactions. However, major decisions should always be anchored in what truly matters to you. Take time to ask yourself, what do I value most in life? How does this decision fit into my long-term vision for my life? What kind of person do I want to be, and what actions will help me become that person? Knowing your values and goals will help you evaluate the options more effectively. When you understand what you stand for, it becomes easier to make decisions that reflect your authentic self, even when external pressures or uncertainties arise. 3. Gather information. Major decisions often require careful research and consideration. Before jumping to a conclusion, take the time to gather all relevant information. This might involve researching potential career paths, companies, or industries if you're making a job-related decision. Seeking advice from trusted friends, mentors, or professionals who have experience in the area of your decision. Reflecting on past experiences, both your own and others, that may offer valuable lessons. In some cases, there may be a lot of unknowns, and it's tempting to rush the decision in hopes of avoiding discomfort. However, in order to make an informed decision, it's crucial to take the time to understand all your options, their potential risks and rewards. 4. Consider the long-term impact. When making a major decision, it's easy to focus on short-term gains or fears. However, significant life choices should always be evaluated through the lens of the long-term consequences. Ask yourself, how will this decision affect me in 5 years? 10 years? What will my life look like if I choose this path? How does this decision impact the people I love and the life I envision? While it's impossible to predict every future outcome, the goal is to envision as many scenarios as possible and consider how each potential choice aligns with your long-term objectives. The 10th of October 10 rule, considering how you'll feel about the decision in 10 minutes, 10 months, and 10 years, can be a useful tool in evaluating the far-reaching consequences of a decision. 5. Evaluate the risks and rewards. No major decision is without risk, and often the fear of failure is what paralyzes us the most. It's important to acknowledge that risk is an inherent part of life, especially when pursuing growth or change. However, by assessing both the risks and rewards of your options, you can better prepare yourself for any outcome. To help you evaluate the risks and rewards, list out the potential benefits of each option, as well as the costs, financial, emotional, time-based, etc. Consider both the best-case and worst-case scenarios. Recognize that even the worst-case scenario can often be managed or mitigated over time. This process will help you feel more confident in your decision, because you'll know you've considered the potential for both success and failure, and you will be better prepared for each. 6. Confront your fears. Fear is often one of the most significant barriers to making bold, life-changing decisions. Fear of failure, fear of rejection, fear of the unknown, these emotions can hold us back and create an illusion that the status quo is safer than making a change. However, Growth rarely happens without stepping into the unknown. Take the time to identify your specific fears surrounding the decision. Write them down and confront them directly. What am I truly afraid of? What's the worst that could happen, and how would I handle it? What is the worst-case scenario, and how can I mitigate it? Recognize that fear is a normal part of the decision-making process. It's natural to feel uncertain when facing something unknown. However, by naming the fear, you can reduce its power over you and move forward with a clearer mind. 7. Take action. At some point, you must commit to a course of action. Even with all the information and reflection in the world, there comes a point when you must make a decision and move forward. This requires courage, the courage to act in the face of uncertainty, to trust yourself and your process, and to accept that no choice is ever perfect. To take action. Set a deadline for when you will make your decision. Break the decision into smaller, manageable steps if needed. Once the decision is made, commit to it fully and take the first step toward executing it. Taking action is the only way to turn your decision into reality. The longer you hesitate, the more likely you are to be paralyzed by indecision. 8. Be prepared to adapt. One of the most important things to remember when making major decisions is that no decision is ever set in stone. Life is dynamic, and circumstances change. Even when you make the best decision possible, new information, challenges, or opportunities may arise, requiring you to adapt along the way. Be open to adjusting your path if things don't go as expected. Embrace flexibility, and view challenges as opportunities to learn and grow. Accept that no decision, no matter how well planned, will go entirely as expected. The key is to stay focused on your values and long-term goals, adjusting as necessary. Dealing with fear and uncertainty in high-stakes decisions. In the face of major decisions, fear and uncertainty are common companions. It's easy to feel overwhelmed by the weight of the choice, and the idea of living with the consequences can feel paralyzing. Yet, uncertainty is also where opportunity and growth lie. Remember, no decision is perfect. Every choice has some degree of uncertainty, and part of living with confidence is accepting that we cannot control every outcome. The goal is not to eliminate fear, but to manage it, to recognize it as part of the journey and to not let it dictate your path. Here are a few strategies for dealing with fear and uncertainty. Limit information overload. Sometimes, too much information can increase anxiety. Focus on gathering the most relevant data, and trust your ability to make a good decision with the information at hand. Talk it through. Seek support from trusted friends, mentors, or a coach. Having an outside perspective can offer clarity and help you process your fears. Embrace the unknown. Remember that many of life's greatest opportunities come with an element of uncertainty. Lean into that discomfort, knowing that it's often the price of personal growth. Major decisions are a normal part of life, but that doesn't make them any easier. Whether it's a career change, a move to a new city, or entering a new relationship, the choices we make can feel monumental. However, by breaking down the decision-making process into clear steps, clarifying the decision, aligning with your values, gathering information, and embracing the risk, you can make these choices with confidence. Remember, it's not about finding the perfect choice, but about making the best choice for who you are now and where you want to go. By learning to manage fear and uncertainty, staying aligned with your values, and committing to your choices, you will navigate life's major decisions with greater clarity and purpose. And in the end, you will find that, even without an undo key, your decisions will lead you to a life lived intentionally, with peace and confidence in the path you've chosen. Chapter 13. Finding peace in the absence of an undo key. In the digital age, we are accustomed to the idea of undoing things. A simple click of a button can reverse a decision, correct a mistake, or delete a message. But life doesn't come with an undo button. Every choice, every action, once made, is set in motion, creating a ripple effect that we may never fully understand. This chapter is about coming to terms with this truth, the fact that our decisions are final, and learning how to find peace in the absence of an undo key. The idea of finality can be intimidating. We often fear making the wrong choice, and the thought of being stuck with our decisions can feel overwhelming. But what if we could learn to embrace the permanence of our choices, and find peace in the understanding that there is no undo? What if we could make decisions with confidence, live fully in the present, and accept the journey we've chosen without looking back with regret? In this chapter, we will explore how to cultivate a sense of peace and acceptance in the face of irreversible decisions. We will delve into practical philosophies, powerful mindsets, and concrete exercises to help you embrace the finality of life's choices. We will also discuss how to build resilience against regret, how to make peace with past decisions, and how to confidently move forward into the future, knowing that the absence of an undo key is not something to fear, but something to embrace. The concept of finality and its psychological impact. The idea that there is no undo key in life often stirs anxiety. It's normal to fear that one decision will be a permanent marker in our lives, shaping everything that follows. Whether it's deciding to move to a new city, choosing a career path, or committing to a relationship, the fear of permanence can paralyze us. What if we make the wrong choice? What if we later regret it? These are common fears, and they are rooted in the human desire for control. Psychologically, the fear of irreversible decisions is deeply connected to our need for certainty. We want to feel secure in the knowledge that our choices can be reversed if needed. But when we acknowledge that there is no such thing as an undo button, we begin to realize that the beauty of life lies in its imperfection, in the messy, unpredictable journey of making decisions and learning from them. In the absence of an undo key, the key to peace is acceptance. Accepting that every decision, whether it leads to success or failure, is part of the journey, part of becoming who we are meant to be. It's this acceptance that frees us from the grip of regret and allows us to move forward with confidence. The art of acceptance, letting go of the need for regret. Regret is one of the most powerful emotions tied to decision-making. It can keep us up at night, replaying past choices and wondering what might have been different. But regret is a double-edged sword. While it can serve as a teacher, it can also paralyze us, keeping us stuck in the past and preventing us from moving forward. The first step to overcoming regret is learning to accept that every choice we make is a step on a path. Some steps may lead to challenges or failures, but each one contributes to our growth. Accepting that we are not perfect, and that no decision is ever 100% right or wrong, is the foundation of peace. Every choice carries risks, and some decisions will inevitably lead to consequences we didn't anticipate. But even in those moments, we can choose to embrace the journey rather than live in regret. To embrace this mindset, consider the following exercise. Reflection exercise, embracing the journey. Sit quietly for a few moments and think of a past decision that still lingers in your mind, perhaps one you regret. Now, ask yourself, what lessons did I learn from this decision that I would not have learned otherwise? How has this decision shaped who I am today? If I had the chance to make the same decision again, what would I do differently? And why? What would my life look like if I had never made this choice? Reflect on the answers. In doing so, you will begin to see that even the most difficult decisions are stepping stones on a path of growth. Accepting that each choice, even the ones that didn't turn out as planned, was part of your evolution helps to eliminate regret and opens the door to inner peace. Living in the present, focusing on what you can control. One of the biggest sources of anxiety, when we face irreversible decisions, is the fear of the future. What if things don't turn out the way we hoped? What if the consequences of our choices lead to unforeseen complications? While it's important to evaluate the potential outcomes of our decisions, it's equally important to remember that we cannot predict the future with certainty. And often, the things we worry most about don't happen at all. The key to finding peace in the absence of an undue key is to focus on the present. We cannot change what's already happened, and we cannot control every aspect of the future. But what we can control is how we react to the present moment, how we handle the outcomes of our choices, and how we adapt along the way. Mindfulness practice, living in the now. Mindfulness is the practice of focusing on the present moment without judgment. It helps to reduce anxiety about past decisions or future uncertainties by grounding us in the here and now. Here's a simple mindfulness exercise to practice. Take a few deep breaths and close your eyes. Focus on the sensation of your breath entering and leaving your body. Let go of any thoughts about the past or future. If they arise, acknowledge them and gently bring your focus back to your breath. As you breathe, silently repeat to yourself, I cannot change what has already happened. I trust that I can handle what comes next. This practice can help reduce the mental burden of dwelling on past decisions or worrying about what's to come. By practicing mindfulness, you learn to trust yourself and your ability to face whatever challenges arise. Building emotional resilience, bouncing back from difficult decisions. Even when we make decisions with the best of intentions, life doesn't always turn out the way we expect. We might face challenges or setbacks as a result of our choices, and it's natural to feel disappointment, frustration, or sadness. But the key to finding peace is not to avoid these emotions, but to build emotional resilience, the ability to recover from difficult experiences and keep moving forward. Emotional resilience is the ability to adapt to adversity, to face difficulties with strength, and to bounce back after setbacks. It's about developing a mindset that sees challenges as opportunities for growth rather than as insurmountable obstacles. Resilience building exercise, the power of perspective. When faced with a difficult decision or challenging outcome, try reframing the situation by shifting your perspective. Ask yourself, how can this experience help me grow? What can I learn from this? Consider how the challenge could contribute to your personal growth. This shift in perspective allows you to see every decision, good or bad, as an opportunity for development. Additionally, having a support network of friends, mentors, or loved ones is vital to building resilience. They can provide perspective, encouragement, and empathy when you're struggling with the consequences of your decisions. Don't hesitate to lean on them in times of difficulty. Living with purpose, finding meaning in every choice. When life feels overwhelming and you're uncertain about your decisions, it helps to reconnect with your sense of purpose. Purpose is the anchor that keeps us grounded, especially when we face the consequences of irreversible decisions. When we know why we're making the choices we do, we can live with greater intention and peace, regardless of the outcome. Exercise, identifying your core purpose. Take some time to reflect on the deeper meaning behind your choices. Ask yourself, what do I want my life to stand for? How can I align my daily choices with my broader sense of purpose? When I look back on my life, what kind of legacy do I want to leave? By reconnecting with your sense of purpose, you can approach each decision with confidence, knowing that your choices are steps toward the life you are actively creating. Even when things don't go according to plan, you'll find peace in the knowledge that you're living a life of intention, with meaning behind each step you take. Acceptance and peace, the final step. In the absence of an undue key, the final piece of the puzzle is acceptance. When you can accept that life is messy, that decisions come with both successes and failures, you can find peace. Embrace the imperfection of life and trust that your decisions, regardless of their outcomes, are part of the beautiful tapestry of your journey. By practicing mindfulness, building emotional resilience, and living with purpose, you can create a life filled with confidence and peace. You'll be able to look at your past choices not with regret, but with gratitude for the lessons they've taught you. And as you move forward, you'll make decisions not out of fear, but with courage, knowing that you have the power to handle whatever comes next. The absence of an undo key is not something to fear. It is, in fact, a gift. It reminds us that we are the authors of our own lives, and that every choice we make shapes the story we are writing. It is only by accepting the finality of our decisions that we can live fully in the present, confident in the knowledge that every step we take is part of our unique and valuable journey. So, step forward with courage, knowing that each choice you make is a reflection of your values, your growth, and your willingness to embrace life's impermanence. Trust that peace comes not from avoiding mistakes, but from accepting them, learning from them, and moving forward with clarity and confidence. This is the gift of a life well lived. Conclusion. The confident life. As we come to the end of our exploration into the art of decision-making, it's important to reflect on the central lesson of this book, that life is not a series of mistakes to be undone, but a journey of choices, each shaping us into who we are meant to be. Embracing the permanence of our decisions, we can begin to live with intention, purpose, and a profound sense of confidence in our choices. This is the confident life, the life of a person who has learned not just to make decisions, but to make them with clarity, conviction, and the unwavering belief that they are capable of handling whatever the future holds. Throughout this book, we have delved into the many facets of decision-making, from understanding the psychological mechanisms behind our choices to building the emotional resilience needed to face the consequences of our actions. We have explored how knowing ourselves, recognizing external influences, and balancing logic with intuition are all essential ingredients for making choices that align with our deepest values and aspirations. Most importantly, we have learned how to live with our choices, fully embracing their permanence, and finding peace in the absence of an undo key. We live in a world that often feels overwhelming, where every decision seems to carry significant weight. With so much at stake, it's easy to fall into the trap of second-guessing, fear, or avoidance. The truth is, the more we try to control the uncontrollable, or worry about the consequences of every move, the more paralyzed we become. However, as we have discussed, it is not the fear of making mistakes, or the desire to avoid regret that should guide us. It is the ability to embrace the present, accept the finality of our choices, and trust that every decision we make is a step in our growth. Owning your decisions. One of the most empowering aspects of this journey is learning to own your decisions. Life has a way of throwing us curveballs, and not every choice will lead to the desired outcome. But the real power lies in how we respond to our choices, how we take ownership, how we adapt, and how we continue forward without being weighed down by the burden of what could have been. By taking ownership, we recognize that we are not victims of circumstance, but active participants in our own lives. When we begin to take ownership of our choices, we release the mental and emotional chains that keep us tethered to past decisions. We stop looking over our shoulder, wondering what if, and instead, focus on moving forward. We accept the full spectrum of our experiences, knowing that each choice, each success, and each failure is a piece of the mosaic that forms our personal story. Living with intention. As you continue on your journey, remember that living with intention is not about making perfect choices at every turn. Perfection is an illusion, and to strive for it is to set yourself up for frustration and disappointment. Instead, living with intention means aligning your choices with your values, your purpose, and your long-term vision. It's about recognizing that every choice, no matter how small, has meaning and that it is within your power to ensure that each one is made with purpose. It is tempting to react impulsively, to rush decisions when they seem urgent, or to make choices based on the expectations of others. But the most confident individuals are those who pause, reflect, and choose consciously, aligning their decisions with the direction they wish to take in life. This is not always easy, it requires effort, patience, and a commitment to self-awareness. But the reward is a life lived authentically, with clarity of purpose and the confidence that each step you take is one you have chosen deliberately. The role of growth and learning. Throughout the chapters, we have emphasized that no choice, whether it leads to success or failure, is ever truly wasted. Every decision we make provides us with an opportunity to learn. Even in the face of failure, there are lessons to be gleaned, valuable lessons that shape us into wiser, stronger, and more resilient individuals. The process of learning from our mistakes is as important as the decisions themselves, as it is through these lessons that we develop the emotional resilience to bounce back and keep moving forward. In fact, the most confident people are often those who have made the most mistakes. Why? Because they've learned how to fail forward, how to extract meaning from their mistakes, how to use failures as stepping stones, and how to make better, more informed choices as a result. Failure is not something to fear. It is simply a part of the process of growth and evolution. When we begin to embrace this, we stop seeing mistakes as the end of the road and start viewing them as integral to our development. Finding peace in the impermanence of life. At the heart of this book is the idea that peace comes from acceptance, the acceptance of the impermanence of our choices, the acceptance of the unpredictability of life, and the acceptance of our own humanity. Life is a series of ever-changing moments, each leading to the next, and in order to live with peace, we must let go of the need for control, the need for certainty, and the need for perfection. When we stop trying to undo the past, or anticipate every possible outcome of our decisions, we open ourselves to the beauty of living fully in the present. The peace that comes from accepting the permanence of our decisions is liberating. It frees us from the endless cycle of doubt, regret, and second-guessing. It allows us to live with clarity, with purpose, and with the understanding that, while we cannot control everything, we can always control how we choose to move forward. This is the key to living a confident life, a life where we embrace every decision, every step, and every moment with a sense of peace and fulfillment. A call to action. Living boldly and confidently. As you close the pages of this book and step back into the world, remember that you are now equipped with the tools to make decisions with confidence and purpose. You have learned how to assess your choices, how to navigate the complexities of life, and how to manage the emotions that arise from your decisions. You have learned how to embrace mistakes as opportunities for growth, and how to live with commitment to the choices you make. But the most important lesson of all is this: you have the power to shape your own life. Every decision you make is a brushstroke on the canvas of your existence. Don't wait for permission to live boldly. Don't wait for the perfect moment, or the perfect choice. Instead, take action now. Trust in your ability to make thoughtful, intentional decisions, and trust in your resilience to handle whatever life presents. There is no undo button in life. There is no going back, no resetting the clock. But there is forward motion, and that is where the magic happens. Embrace the finality of your choices, live each day with purpose, and move forward with courage. The confident life is not about making perfect decisions every time. It is about trusting yourself, learning from each experience, and living boldly, knowing that you are the author of your own story. Live the life you choose. Ultimately, life is not about avoiding mistakes. It's about living a life that reflects who you truly are. It's about living in alignment with your values, with your purpose, and with the vision you hold for yourself. As you continue on your journey, may you approach each decision not with fear or hesitation, but with confidence in your ability to navigate the complexities of life with clarity and grace. So, step forward into the world with your head held high, knowing that each choice you make is a reflection of your growth, your wisdom, and your commitment to living intentionally. There is no undo button in life, but there is something far more powerful: the ability to shape your future with every decision you make. Live boldly. Live confidently. Live the life you choose.